This is what dedication looks like.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Fish and Grits Live. As you can see, the band is back, fellas. The band is back together.
Can I be Ringo?
You can be whoever you want. You seem
That's
like
Mark.
Ringo.
He's the Beatles guy.
I was gonna say, yeah. Hold on, we'll get to that in a second. Today is Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. I, as always, am Ryan, joined by my wonderful, wonderful friends and co-host, Marco. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm swell.
Doing great. Micah, how you doing?
And I'm just out here trying to do the damn thing. You know how I go.
And for the gentleman in the lime green shirt, can you introduce yourself for those who may not know you?
Hey, I'm Lionel. I used to work here, but now I don't.
Yeah,
Seize the means of production.
Lionel was one of the founding members, you know. I don't know if you were the one that officially named us or if that was just a group think thing. I forget how that happened.
He took my idea and made it more PC.
Yeah.
I think mine was, I said shrimp and grits and sports shit. And then he was like, what about fish and grits?
And all that.
It was a collab between me and Marco. Yeah. So maybe I'm more like McCartney.
No, I'm McCartney.
No, that's my favorite guy.
That's my guy. It's my guy.
Yeah. I'm glad to be back. You guys have been doing a hell of a job. I just want to say I'm super impressed and proud of you guys and everything you've been doing. And I appreciate you letting me join from my car on my daughter's 4th birthday during my son's soccer tryouts, in case you wanted to have any more of a indication as to why I'm not on the show as often.
What, did Lionel get busy or something?
Oh my God, man.
So happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, V.
Happy birthday, V.
Yeah, she's currently, I think, having her like 4th ice cream or something like that of the day. So
she deserves it.
She's Jess's kid tonight after I get home. You put her to bed. Sleeping in the guest room home.
I know. After that much sugar, she might just pass out.
Yeah.
Crash.
Sugar crash.
Right.
Just kind of standing over the couch, folded over. Just.
I guess last night she because we were practice last night or tryouts last night. I guess she was running around being wild, and then just in the middle of the kitchen, she laid down on this rug, and was just just are you ready for bed?
She's like, okay, I'm done. That's enough.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you.
I want to do that at work all the time. I'll look at a table. I'm like, there's not a lot of people in the building. I wonder how long I can nap here before someone finds me.
See, you got to get on that home office life, my friend. I've got a bright blue couch up against the back wall of my office. So if I'm in a really terrible meeting, and I'm so glad my boss doesn't listen to this podcast. If I'm in a really boring meeting, I'll just throw it up full screen on my monitor and just lay down on the couch and just be like, I'm getting paid for this.
Harvey's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, Harvey. Lionel, you may not know Harvey. I don't know how much you paid attention. Harvey is a dedicated watcher and listener. He's here every week in the comments talking to us, and we're actually getting people who follow us. It's weird.
That's bananas.
Right?
Well, what's up, Harvey, man?
Harvey is special. He taught us how to burn jerseys.
Harvey is an Atlanta fan. He lives in Texas, went to Iowa State, is a Falcons fan. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure of his allegiances. They're a little... Harvey, can you clarify for us who all of your allegiances? But if someone leaves Atlanta, he's like, jersey's getting burned. I'm done with you.
That's it?
Yeah, he's like, if I have your jersey and you're no longer a Falcon, you're dead to me. All right, so Harvey, this is Lionel. He is one of the founding members, if you have not watched some of our earlier stuff. But he is here today because today is our 1-year anniversary of doing this.
Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday.
We started this in the middle of a pandemic, as I'm sure a lot of people did. And we've been doing this for actually just a little over a year now, because this past week was the actual 1 year anniversary. We of course did not start this on this anniversary that we'll talk about here in a second, but I'm proud of us, man. You know, to do this a lot, we know how much it takes. You know, an episode a week for a year, that takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication, especially when it comes to the editing side, all the stuff on the backside to make sure, you know, you're not just putting your episode out there and 6 people listen to it at a time.
I just want to say you're welcome.
Hey, hold on now there. Take it down a notch. You've done a lot, Marco, and we'll get to that.
No. I'm just saying, if it weren't for, because y'all had this idea forever, and I was finally like, oh my God, guys, just do it.
That's
just
true.
Start it. Just
Hey,
You were the
Shia
kick in the
LaBeouf.
pants.
He's Shia LaBeouf. Just do it.
I thought you were talking about totally something different. I was like, wow, Marco, calm down. You're welcome for holding this all together.
I'm the heart and soul.
He did say he was McCartney.
Yeah, we can see it now.
This is
I think the
magical
biggest.
mystery tour.
I wonder if you can see that.
Is that crypto?
Ooh,
No,
money. Nope. That's what we've made on Anchor over the past 12 months.
Oh, nice.
High five, guys.
Yeah.
I thought that was a crypto fall. It's
We'll
this
see.
is
Hey,
my account.
That could lead up to two of Flu's fish and grits plates. So
That's why we've
All
shifted
right, we only got
our...
to keep doing it for another year to get enough for all of us, then, right?
That's why we've since shifted from just being a podcast and moved on to live streaming on YouTube, getting more involved on Instagram, Twitter, and all that type of stuff, that we've realized, you know, the avenues of how to become an entity that is consumed by a lot of people. But
Yeah, and later this week, follow Marco on TikTok to learn our new Fish and Grits podcast dance. He's got really good ideas for that. So
It's gonna be something like, you know, surfing.
do the mashed potato. Wait, hold on. Hasn't this already been a dance? He's like, shh. What's old
Hey
is new.
man, that's what they all do. They all recycle things we've already seen. And just
it's cool. I'm bringing it back.
I'm bringing it back.
bringing it back,
I'm
man.
reclaiming it. I'm bringing it back. So yeah, man. Like, just real quick, what's y'all's favorite memory from the past year of doing this? You know, it could be an episode. It could be, you know, whatever. It could be getting together and talking every Tuesday, once a week. What has it been for you? And Lionel, since you're technically the guest, we'll let you go first. The guest.
I think my favorite thing that we did while I was on the show was definitely when we stopped talking about sports for a minute and started talking about what was going on, right? Both with like the George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, you know, we went like hard into social justice stuff last year. And then also, you know, just sort of like getting through the pandemic, and you know what I mean? Like that was good. It was super important for me too, you know, to be able to come and hang out with you guys for a little bit during the week. But I think my favorite thing that this podcast has done is like super shoot your shot. Like we went from having like Simon as a guest and we had Bunker, and now you guys are getting shout outs on the radio, which I don't listen to because the old people listen to the radio. But like you guys are like shooting your shot and you're making it work. You know what I mean? Like that's like always for me, like, you know, even if I can't be here, even if I'm not going to spend 2 hours a week listening to the podcast, you know, I'll just catch like the clips, you know what I mean? Marco posts some highlights. But just seeing this, seeing the work that you guys are doing and just doing it, it's been super rewarding for me. And I'm always just like, yeah, go. And when you guys get bought by Spotify
for like
Joe
$100
Rogan,
million and 99 cents.
I just want one of those millions. Okay.
Oh, I'm down.
That's cool.
That actually gives me, that reminds me, just a reminder for an upcoming episode. We're in the middle of scheduling. For those of you who are interested in college sports, we're scheduling with the current athletic director of UGA. He will be joining us here in the near future. We're just ironing out the dates here. He's obviously a busy guy, but it looks to be
Justin Fields incident.
It's gonna be sometime in June, so look out for that.
How racist were the remarks?
Exactly. Which was it? The hard R?
That's exactly what I was
Or
let's go, Micah. What's your? I think I know what yours is going to be. What's your favorite event from the last year doing this?
It's hard to say now. I mean, the getting a shout out from Bunker, Randy, and Andy was awesome.
Twice now.
But yeah. But I think my favorite is, considering we've been in a pandemic, I haven't really gotten out the house much. So the whole flu, the fish and grits, the reveal, bringing everybody the fish and grits and the first bite of the fish and grits.
We should do that. We should do a reaction video to that and just eat it. Have people try it and react to it.
I'm gonna put the mic right up to my mouth so everybody can hear me chewing.
Hear the saliva dripping.
Yeah, turn up the cardio on
it. Like these are some of my closest friends. Like I'm like family in ways.
We are your closest friends.
So, well,
except for those darn guys at your office you're always talking about sports with.
I was talking to them a lot more.
I was talking to one of my coworkers about quantum physics. What?
Hey, I'm not even gonna go there, but but nah. So yeah, like family almost. So anytime you get to spend time, in camaraderie, is always a great thing. So the fact that we were able to kind of come together and enjoy some great food together was huge. So that sticks out, probably the best moment to me in the past year. So,
yeah, Marco, what you got for us, sir?
Selfishly, my favorite moment outside, regarding the show, but like not on Zoom, was eating the fish and grits.
That was good.
That we got. I was like, oh my God, I need this in my life every day. But in terms of on show, my favorite thing was probably interviewing Reggie Ball. I feel like that was our
that was really cool
interview. And
Reggie's a great guy.
So he was such an open book that
He's like, hey, want to hear a cool Calvin Johnson story? Like, yes, I do.
How much do I like you?
Right. I don't know. I feel like you like us a lot, Reggie. Let's. Was that your 10% warning there, Lionel?
It sure was.
I think mine's gonna have to be Foyer.
Yeah,
Foyer was cool. I like respect to all of our guests. Everybody that we've had on, I've thoroughly enjoyed speaking to you. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We're just four guys that like to talk about sports, and we had like a text chat on our phones that was not an iMessage chat, thanks to Micah. There's about 8 of us, and then we narrowed it down to about 4 of us who talked about it more regularly. And you're like, hey, like Marco had mentioned, let's actually do something about this, and let's talk about this type of stuff. But I would say Foyer, or a very, very close second was Mike Conti.
Yeah.
Just because like Mike Conti is great. Like he can literally talk on anything, and he sounds like a genius, because he is, but he's just so eclectic. But Foyer was like, wow, this is an active NFL player. This isn't like someone who's played 10 years ago. This isn't someone, like this is a guy who is on the team that we actively watch, and he's just chopping it up with us, and in a bedroom, like, hey, yeah, I'm on vacation, but sure, let's talk for an hour and a half. Okay, thanks, man.
Yeah, and a guy that we like, we like really like him too,
right?
Like it's not just like. It's not like having like Matt Bosher on, you know what I mean? Just be like, remember that time that you were checking my wife out and I was yelling at you, Bosher? I remember. But he's like, like he's a guy who we're just like, this dude is the truth.
Right.
Not only that, but cool. Ryan completely scouted him out pretty much, and called him he was going to be a good player. So.
He called it, yep.
Yeah. I remember putting that in the chat. I was like, hey, guy, this safety / linebacker from Yale that we picked up in the 5th round, he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
And y'all were just like, who?
Who?
Foyesade? What?
You drafted
Foy?
him.
Yeah, but it does track with Ryan's like history of being, like, well, I think we can get really good value in the 6th round, guys. Whereas like I watch like halfway through the 2nd round, I'm just like, man, fuck it, it's just whatever. I do want to, real quick before you move on, Ryan, I do think that we should shout Micah out for having such an old ass Android phone, because I think if it had been an iMessage chat, we never would have made it to the podcast, because we would have just been satisfied with the iMessage chat, right? Because it would have been so like the video would have been so nice sending it to each other and stuff.
I need more.
Yeah, so that's my 2 cents on that.
Oh man.
Hey, yeah, I got hey Marco, I got that in common with your cousin Ruben.
What, y'all are an Android?
Older Android. We don't see the need to get new phones all the time.
Yeah, I'm on iPhone 10. That's pretty old, in today's standards. I'd just say this has been a really fun year, man. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. We've had some really good conversations. We've improved. We've still got a lot of improvement in some areas that we talk about often. That just comes down to a lot of times time and sometimes money on how to do this. But we thoroughly enjoy this, and we thank every single person that has watched or listened to us or just clicked on one of our clips over the past year. It means a lot to us. We started off with, I think our first episode got like 12 listens in the first like month and a half or 2 months. And we got up to like some episodes were like I think 80 or 90 now. We have well over 2,000 listens on the pod. I think the podcast. I think that's the one I was looking at. I think we're approaching like 2,300 listens or something like that on the podcast. Or our YouTube channel is slowly growing. Instagram is slowly growing, and thank you so much, Marco, for doing that, man. You've been killing it. I know it's a lot of time to edit those videos. I know it's a lot of effort to keep track of all this stuff, but you've been doing an excellent job on that. We definitely appreciate you.
So frustrating because you'll like gain 4 followers, and then the next day you'll be back on 169. It's like we were just on 174.
Because we got so many bots that are
right. That's the thing.
I literally hate that. Like so many bots. Like even on my page, it's like even people. I don't know. I just hate it.
You put a post that it's like such and such commented. You can promote through us. Oh God.
Go away. Go away. But yeah, everybody, thank y'all so much, Micah, Marco, Lionel.
Thank you.
It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. If y'all are ready, let's move on
Best
to the next
theme song in the game too, man.
Honestly, yeah, Juan, big shout out. Like our intro, our theme song, our outro is just
graphics, man.
He killed that
guy.
But as we alluded to earlier, today is the 1-year anniversary for George Floyd, or the death of George Floyd. Thank goodness in that year we've seen a form of justice be served. I don't want to get too deep into this because this could turn into another 30 to 45 minute topic. I think we're all aware, or all of our listeners are pretty aware of where we stand on this. But one question I do want to ask specifically Micah and Marco, what have y'all seen change for the better, if anything, in this last year from the George Floyd incident?
You starting with me? Can I start?
Go for it.
Go ahead.
I'm so glad now that Asians don't have to be discriminated against anymore. Your turn, Micah.
Okay. I think there's a lot more consciousness now. A lot of people don't necessarily agree. Not everybody agrees, and I understand. Some people are just going to fight it just because they feel like, oh, our rights are being taken away. But a lot more people are truly aware, and what we saw in that case is, for the first time, police officers spoke out against another for the wall of blue silence or whatever it is called. It finally was broken. So if they are more willing to hold each other accountable, then potentially some of these things might, we might be able to solve some of this. So You were muted. I didn't hear what you said.
I like talking to myself. Lionel, do you want to add anything to this? I know we don't live the same experience, Marco and Micah, but I know you're fairly informed and opinionated.
I just want to make sure that, and I'm not going to speak to like society. I'm going to speak to my target audience. It's been a while since I've done this. White people, specifically liberal white people. Don't let the fact that Derek Chauvin got convicted make you think that everything is better now, because it's not. This has to be the beginning. It cannot be the end. We cannot let the powers that be and the same people who are in charge now as were a year ago, for the most part, right? We can't let them bandage up the problems of our society and, make us feel pretty good for a while so that we stop fighting, because otherwise it's just going to keep coming up. We have an opportunity now. We've got momentum. White people liberal white people in particular, you have to do the work. You can't just rest. I know it's exhausting, but imagine being black in this country. That's it.
All right. Yeah, I don't really have much to add, if anything. I've ranted on this platform enough. So let's move on to something I do know a little more about, and I think we all enjoy talking about it a little bit more. Let's talk about the Gritz Blitz, Marco.
Blue 32! Blue 32!
All right, so...
Wait. You guys still haven't gotten actual sound effects? Like, you still just have Marco just doing sound effects?
That's part of the home cooking here.
Yeah.
I say, I predict by episode 7.
Look, when we get bought out by Spotify, then we'll get our soundboard and everything.
When I go and
you
buy
give me a soundboard, Joe Rogan.
When I go and get a little whatchamacallit, those little pads, and then I'll invest in some sound effects for that. But right now it's just fun. I think it's one of the best parts of the show to me. All right, so I'm sure all of us, if not most of us that are listening and talking about this, have seen the terrible news that has come out from the Falcons camp. But just in case you haven't, let me go ahead and catch you up. It has always been a topic that, in order to clear up money, the Falcons had one very easy and obvious move to make, and that was to part ways with Julio Jones. And no one in the front office had said anything. There was kind of some rumors that came out that we were we were shopping Julio, but more so we were just listening to teams that were saying, hey, I'll give you this, this, and this for Julio. Like, okay, cool, whatever, and moving on to the next. They were never actively reaching out to teams like, hey, we're trying to trade Julio. They were just taking calls on him. You hadn't heard anything from Julio's camp at all. It's kind of par for the course for him, as he shunned Atlanta media and media in general, but mainly Atlanta media. But this week, 2 days ago, Monday morning at right around 11:30 in the morning, on Undisputed, Shannon Sharp, the co-host of Undisputed, called Julio Jones live on air, got him on the call, and asked him the question, hey, Julio, do you want to be a Cowboy? Because there was a picture. I'm sorry, let me back it up a bit. There was a picture that came out of Julio in the airport in Dallas wearing a Dallas Cowboys hoodie, standing next to a fan. So he called and said, hey, Julio, do you want to be a Cowboy, or are you going to stay in Atlanta?
Get the live reenactment from Micah. What's your Shannon impression?
Yeah, let's hear it. Micah.
Hold on. So Julio, let me see. So you gonna be in Dallas, or you gonna stay in Atlanta?
And Julio replied to that, nah, man, I'm out of there. So there was no clarification on that, but it was assumed and kind of well known that he meant he's out of Atlanta. He was responding to staying in Atlanta by saying, nah, man, I'm out of there. So then they follow that up by Shannon saying, what are you going to do if you want to win? Or Julio said he wants to win. He wants to go somewhere and win. And Shannon said, well, if you want to win, don't go to the Cowboys. He's like, oh, I know, so on and so forth. But here's the problem. Shannon didn't say to Julio that he was recording while doing this until the very end of the phone call. And that's when you kind of heard Julio's tune change a little bit, made it a little more PC, made it a little more vague as he's been trained to do. But that's one problem. Two, he didn't say, I want out of Atlanta. He could just be saying he's out of Dallas. But what do you guys think? Do you think he meant when he said, I'm out of there, he's out of Atlanta?
Yeah, pretty much.
So that clip spreads like wildfire. Information from the Falcons was leaked about 2 hours later, after all this hit, social media and went everywhere, that Julio had actually requested a trade from Atlanta in March. And the Falcons were like, okay, well, we'll look. There's no guarantee we can because you've got a pretty big cap hit. We do want to keep you, but we'll look. So they fielded calls during the draft from teams. Their request was a first-round pick for Julio. Every team balked at that, and it's come out as well that most teams believe that the Falcons can't get a first-round pick for Julio. So they just were like, well, if that's your asking price now, we'll just wait. Because really Julio's 32 on the back end of his career, even though he is one of the greatest of all time. Still not what we're going to get for him. Later, and actually this morning, it was released that Julio, his two preferred teams are the Titans and the Patriots. So you're now all caught up. If you haven't been paying attention in the past 48 hours, that's everything Julio related. And we still don't really know what's going on. I'm going to say this last thing, then I'm going to open this up for general discussion. I know this is a long thing. So if traded, Julio would leave the franchise as their all-time leader in receptions at 848. Roddy White is second with 808. Yards at 12,896. Roddy is also second with 10,863. And second in touchdowns with 60. Roddy is first with 63. So we would be losing our franchise's definitely our best receiver, probably our best player of all time. Insert depression into your life, and now here we are. So, what do you guys think about just the Julio side right now, where we are caught up before we talk about Arthur Smith's comments? Lionel, what do you think about all this?
I think skip. I think that you really fucked up to chase Julio Jones out of Atlanta. And I'm putting the blame of this squarely on the front office. Larry Fitzgerald played until he was like 40. Has he retired yet?
Yeah, he retired this season. This season.
So Larry, he played in Arizona with like the worst quarterbacks in most anybody's had in a run in modern football aside from the Browns. And he was happy, man. You can make players happy. And then at least, to the point where they're not requesting a trade and saying on live TV that they want to get out. My bet is that Terry Fontenot is actually a spy. No, genuinely, I don't think that they assured Julio of his place in the rebuild. I don't think that they respected his place in the team or in the city. And his response to that is, well, if I'm not going to be, treated like the greatest Falcon of all time, like I am, at least respected in that way, then I'm out. Because it's never been about winning the Super Bowl for Julio, at least publicly. You know what I mean? Like, we've had some really shitty teams. And I don't know, man. I think he had to really screw up. And it also makes me question why, if we're not keeping Julio Jones and we're not trying to win a Super Bowl, how come we took a tight end at 4 instead of a quarterback? Did we pick a 4?
Yep, yeah, number 4.
I didn't watch the draft. I was too depressed. Anyway, I think this is I'm taking it as a worrying sign that the front office has no idea what they're doing. And I'm terrified for the next like 5 years of this shit.
Marco, what do you think about all this, man?
First, to answer Lionel's question, I think that I don't really think this regime really had any intention of trying that hard of keeping Julio. And I think that's exactly why we drafted Kyle Pitts, because they're figuring Calvin Ridley is just going to slide into that one spot. And then, Kyle Pitts can immediately be that number 2 option. I think that's what they think. But, I mean, I still don't understand what they're going to do with the running back, but I know Mike Davis has good hands. So, we can implement him too. But I think that's an answer to that. Like, why would we not take a quarterback? Because I think if we would have taken a quarterback, we would have been more likely to try to keep Julio and, build and give and have him with a weapon set that is undeniable. But
just real
like
quick,
a safety
Marco,
blanket for that.
I'm not gonna overtake him. I just want to add on to what you say. I think you are right. I think their plan is Julio and Matt gone. It's just it makes more sense contractually this year to get rid of Julio, move on from him, and then next year it's the quarterback. But yeah, Marco, I agree 100%.
Right. I almost think that they're okay with riding out for Matt for the next 3-4 years. Like I wouldn't be surprised. But you might be right. Maybe we're looking at Spencer next year or one of these other guys.
Rattler,
my guy Rattler. But so on this Julio situation, and then I also want to parallel how you sort of mentioned Larry Fitz. I think one of the differences, and the first time I ever really got mad and upset with Julio was that season where he was holding out for this money that we laid at his feet, and now he's cavalierly wants to get out of town. I mean, everybody knows the situation, but at the same time, it's like Larry Fitz was never that malcontent. Like, I think towards the end of his career, he knew his lot in life, and he wanted to stay there. So he was willing to do whatever he could, I mean, I'm sure other teams would have taken a flyer on Larry, but you know what I mean? They weren't, no one was like breaking down the door to get Larry on their team. You know what I mean? Just like now, no one wants a Julio for a first-round pick, but Julio, we've never seen this kind of diva thing materialize that much, but I feel like that summer was the first sign of it. And this almost seems like an extension of that. Like you said, I do get that vibe where he's like, well, I'm the best Falcon ever. Like, I don't want to be there if y'all don't, if y'all aren't down, that y'all don't even want to extend my money because y'all probably don't want to hold on to me for that long. But, it is what it is. I'm not mad at either party, but I think, I think it's for the best that at this point, maybe Julio go plays for another team.
Micah, I know you got a lot of opinions on this. That's your boy.
Yeah. I feel like the writing was on the wall last year during last season because he was injured. He was injured a lot. And I mean, we even talked about it several times last season about potentially trading Julio. And, and it doesn't help that when the media's bringing it up mid-season, as soon as the season's over, they're talking about, what will this regime do with Julio? And I mean, it made me think of like, if you found out your company's doing downsizing and they're going to do layoffs and your name comes up as one as potential layoffs, and, you ask hey, so what's going on? Am I going to get laid off? And they give you non-committal answers. And then finally, you just get to a point where you're just like, fuck it. Yeah, I'm done.
You start looking for that other job, right? And
exactly. It's like, I'm ready to move on. And I think, like I said, there's been so much talk about us potentially trading him that I think he just finally just got to a point. It's just like, all right, well, if y'all going to trade me, then trade me. I want much rather take my own fate in my hands, or as much in my hands as I can, than, just let y'all just go by whatever y'all want to do. I mean, let y'all control my fate 100%.
So if he requested a trade in March, the draft was what, mid-April or late April?
Last month, into the last month.
So at what point? I know there's been talks of trading Julio, but when did that really start? like getting at a fever pitch.
Well, I mean, there were rumors during the season while he was injured. So, they were talking about, if you trade him next year, then, I've seen a lot on the Falcons forums, a lot of fans have been wanting to trade him for a while because they feel like you can't win with an elite receiver.
Especially one taking up 24% of your cap.
Yeah. So they've been, there's a lot, but like I said, there's been a lot of talk about potentially trading him. The cap went down. So I think the writing was on the wall. And then you get the fact that when you get in the offseason, they quickly went to restructure Matt. They quickly went to restructure Jake Matthews and Debo, but they never asked Julio about restructuring.
They did. He told him to kick rocks.
They asked him?
Well, they asked him to take less money.
Oh, well, that's a little different than restructuring, but
there was no extension to it.
Yeah. So I mean,
hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on, Micah. I'll give you 3 Home Depots.
Hey, hold on, you two. Lionel's about to.
I gotta go pick the kid up from tryouts. Gents, thank you so much, Marco. I think you're right. That's not my opinion. On Julio Jones and Hawks in 6. Is it a 7-game series?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hawks in 6.
Go.
All right. Peace.
See you, gents. Have fun.
See you, brother.
Let's turn your filters back on. Let's get a close up of Micah real quick. Turn Marco's filter. That was fun. It was good to have him back on.
Yeah.
Close and then.
We should do call-ins for MLS whenever we talk about MLS.
Honestly, anybody want to talk about soccer? Anybody?
Uh-oh. All I see is Micah now on the.
Oh yeah, it was messing with the filters.
Okay.
Micah, you were about to say something. Why did that happen? Micah?
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I mean, you knew he wasn't going to take just a flat out pay cut. I mean, yeah, very few people are just going to be like, "Hey, can you take less money for us?" No, why would I do that? So
they have
the
option of turning into bonus too, which I don't understand.
Essentially, it reminds me of the situation when the Cowboys cut Dez Bryant, because it was, and what upset him the most was the fact that they didn't even give him the option to restructure. It was just like, we just got to get rid of your contract. That's all that matters. You're not the player that you once were. So we got to dump your contract. And yeah, it's hard. It sucks. And I know it probably hurts him as much as he feels like as much as he's contributed for us that and helped, because I mean, Calvin Ridley wouldn't be the receiver he is today without the help of Julio. So
yeah,
I mean, I hope that we get something great in return for him, something valuable in return for him. And I mean, I hope, he goes somewhere where he can do well.
Yeah, I mean, it does suck. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, is it really worth to keep Julio around just because you have this attachment to Julio and, you remember Julio for what he was, and you still believe that he can be, a large portion of what he once was. But again, he is 32. He's at a skill position. He's a receiver that relies heavily on his physical abilities. He's an excellent route runner. But what makes him such a good route runner is he's so physical, and he's mastered those quick breaks, and it's going to take a toll on a receiver like Julio because he's not small. He's in receiver standards, he's a bigger receiver. So at first I was like, no, I really don't want to get rid of Julio. I don't want to lose him. It's great to see number 11 out there. It's great to have the best receiver in football. Even though his touchdowns don't reflect that. As far as his ability to do everything elite, there's no other receiver like him out there except for maybe D-Hop, but D-Hop doesn't have the speed that Julio has or had. We don't know where he is. So as far as putting everything together, Julio was by far the best. The only argument against Julio that people could ever make was he didn't get into the end zone as much as he could. But I 100% put that on Matt and Dirk Cutter more than I do Julio. Julio can score in any offense if you just put him in the right situations. It's just we didn't utilize him right. Bottom line. Matt couldn't get him the ball in certain situations. Matt wasn't brave enough to make certain throws that other quarterbacks do, and that's what hurt him. Julio can't throw the ball to himself.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Matt's always waiting for the perfect opportunity as opposed to just, hey man, throw it to your freaking monster.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm hoping that he utilizes Pitts that way, and he might have a little more faith in Pitts just because Pitts is a bigger frame. But if we can get a pretty decent haul for him and, get a couple young pieces for him too, I'm all for it, at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know Ridley can score. Ridley's 11th on the all-time touchdown list for the Falcons right now. And probably by the end of the season, if he has another Ridley-like season, he'll be 5th.
That's not saying much, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, we haven't.
I don't want to be definitive, Nelly, but I was thinking that too.
I mean, to still have scored 30 touchdowns in 3 years in the NFL?
Oh yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
There's probably the older franchises that have been around much longer than us probably have a list that's much longer, but we've just started our ascent, into the NFL realm. We were really bad for a while, then we got a little better, and now we've gotten to the point where we're not terrible.
Right. Yeah. I feel like our record book started in 1998.
Honestly, this, the Gritz Blitz was the first, hey, we can do something down here, and then we faded to, as Mike Tyson say, we faded into Bolivian for a while there, and then 98 is okay, Atlanta's got something going, and now the Atlanta culture has helped us kind of become better, and we've done more on the field. So. I agree. 98 was really the beginning of the Atlanta franchise for football, Marco.
One thing that I would add, though, is that I do think so after, the day had gone by, I think I agree with you now that Julio did not know he was on the air. Mm-hmm. Because what happened was if you watched Unwatchable today, or was it called
Undisputed?
Unthinkable? Undisputed. If you watch that today, they didn't talk about that moment at all. So I think somebody called them and it's hey, in this state, because I think in California you're not allowed to record a conversation
without the other person's consent.
Somebody knows what's going on. Because every other show was talking about it, but they didn't talk about the story they created. So it almost makes you think they did something wrong there.
They're just I hope Julio doesn't sue us.
Right.
Yeah. Please, Julio, don't sue us.
I think they'll have to say something, or maybe they're not saying something because they are now under, legal action and they can't say anything.
Right. It could possibly, I'm thinking that there might be a settlement we may never hear about or something. But.
Or their legal department was look, shut up. Nope, no.
Or look, maybe Julio's working out a post-career deal and be all right, since you screwed me on this, I want my own show. I want to replace Nick Wright on First Things First.
When Shannon retires, I want his spot.
Julio doesn't even talk, though. He'd be I want to be the behind-the-scenes guy.
Honestly, yeah. I'm not even sure he likes the media at all. I mean, I know he's been quiet, and that was a good thing, but it's just do you dislike the media? But, all right, so let me ask this before we move on to the Arthur Smith side of this. So how much do y'all actually think? Let's just put it in perspective of stats. How much does Julio have left in the tank? And you can say 1, 2, or 3 seasons of 1,000 yards, 0 seasons. How much does Julio actually have left to give to a team? Micah?
I honestly I could see him potentially having a T.O. type career where T.O. put up good numbers until he was 35. So he might have like 2 or 3 more solid, like really good seasons left in him. And I mean, I think even after he starts to lose his speed, I think he'd still be a good enough receiver to, put up like what Fitz was doing late in his career. But probably even better numbers than Fitz, just because he's a little more athletic than Fitz was. But yeah, I mean, I think he's got like 2 or 3 more solid seasons left in him though, and maybe not 1,600 yard lead the league in receiving type seasons, but I could see 1,100 yards. Or if he goes to the Patriots and he becomes Cam's top option, then I could definitely see 1,300 yards.
So your answer is 2 to 3,000 yard seasons left in him.
Mm-hmm.
Cam would be lucky if he can get the ball to him.
Marco, how many think he has left in him?
I think I'll put him more in a Jerry West kind of. I mean, not Jerry.
Jerry West.
Jerry West.
The logo.
No, I'll put him more in a Jerry Rice kind of category. I think he could probably still have like 4 more 1,000-yard seasons in his career. But I'm looking at it right now. Jerry West.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry West. Jerry Rice. So let's see. At 32, he had 1,500 yards. At 33, he had 1,848 yards. At 34, he had 1,254. 36, 1,157. 39, 1,139. 40, 1,211. And then at 41, he had 869, and that was his last high.
That's crazy, man.
I'm not saying he's going to play until he's 41 and have productivity like that, but I think Julio can be productive until he's like 38.
That's really crazy that Jerry Rice, like I remember him once he left the 49ers not being what he once was, but God, he put up 1,200 yards at 40.
Right.
Yeah.
At 40 at a skill position.
That's 92 receptions that year.
Considering the fact that he was never a burner, he probably kept that 4.7-ish speed his entire career.
I'm already at my slowed down pace, guys. Don't worry. Oh, man. All right, so team side. Today you actually heard from Arthur Smith and by way of Fontenot as well. And, of course, the media, that's all they wanted to talk about. It's the biggest piece of news here in Atlanta and really the NFL world right now. So when they asked about him, when they asked Arthur about Julio, I should say, he said, "My door is always open. My phone's always on. There's a level of trust that we want to build here with the players. All the players know that, Smith said. Again, on my end, we have private conversations. Those are private, and I'm going to keep it that way." He later followed up with, "Look, this is a tough business. We all signed up for it. Coaches and players, we understand that. But everything we do here is going to be well thought out, and it's going to be handled behind the scenes with dignity with the players. As long as I'm here, that's the way it'll be done." So when I heard this, and, hearing the audio as well, he kept it very politically correct, but I heard a lot of he didn't like the fact that Julio did this publicly, especially in the way that he did it, on national television. If he did know, if Julio did know, and it's hard to argue against the fact that he's good friends with Shannon Sharpe. He knows Shannon Sharpe is the co-host of Undisputed. He knows it was at the time that they're on air. Granted, it could have been a commercial break, but that you're talking to a national media member who is currently taping a show in front of other people, and you say this. So, the likelihood of that getting out regardless was probably pretty high.
But that's the thing, though. Does he, though? Because Julio doesn't necessarily seem like the kind of guy who sits there and watches sports shows, or he might wake up early as hell and have no idea what time it really is. You know what I mean? It's like that. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a smoking gun as to, oh, you should have known he was on the air.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know
the onus definitely falls on Shannon for sure.
Right.
For
I
sure.
have no idea when their show starts, and then
11
and I
10.
see a lot of it.
11. 10 or 11. I forget.
I
think it's 10.
We don't fucking know.
Yeah, we work during the day. but like it definitely didn't sound like he liked it. I'll put it that way. And he didn't bite his tongue. I'm backing away by saying, we do things here privately. It's handled behind closed doors. He made it. There's a lot of buzzwords there that made it seem like I almost spilled water all over my keyboard. That would have been tragic. He made it seem like, here's how we do things, unlike what happened this week. And it may just be him fending off the media. It may be him being like, look, guys, I'm not going to talk about this. Like, I have no interest in this. Did y'all read that the same way, or do y'all think it's pretty much that? Micah or Marco? Either one of y'all.
I mean, it's what almost every other coach would have said, though. I mean, most coaches would have said something similar. It's I don't necessarily say it's coach speak, but in a way it is.
It's coached speak for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I could see why he'd be frustrated, but at the same time, I mean, like I said, it's almost like the going back to my example of the downside, like company downsizing. I mean, if an employee is getting downsized and has a feeling they're getting downsized and it's true, then I mean, how mad can you be if they come out and say, yeah, they're probably gonna let me go? So I don't know. It's just kind of.
Well, I think at the end of the day, if a company is paying you, then it's sort of on you to, as long as they're paying you, it's in your best interest to not try to make them look bad. Even if you're about to get fired. You know what I mean? Because there is a certain amount of respect. And I won't say loyalty, because obviously loyalty is a misnomer and professional and, and just in the professional world and pro sports, because you can get fired at any time. But I think Julio, the way and I'm saying that it's all tricky because Julio has been a consummate professional his whole career, and then for this to happen, which was definitely the most unprofessional thing that he's ever done. You know what I mean? There's a lot of questions to ask. Like the key thing is how orchestrated was this? Like, did Shannon just lose a friend? You know what I mean? Like, did Shannon just get blocked? You know what I mean? And if that's the case, then I can't be too mad at Julio. But I will say that you can't be, with all the training he's had, you just can't be that open about your dissatisfaction. Not to say maybe this is a new turn. Maybe the NFL should be more like the NBA. But I don't know. It's just beyond what we usually expect.
The funny thing is, it seems like players are a little more open now under the new regime than they were under the Dimitrov, Dan Quinn. I was about to say Mike Smith, but Dan Quinn regime, because nobody ever said anything of substance under either one of them. And
well, that's because there wasn't ever really like pressing questions. I mean, because we just gave the impression that we were like just keeping this thing going, and even though there was a lot of questions about, okay, your coach is an idiot, what do you think about that? Obviously, you're not.
How dumb is Dan Quinn?
Right, you're not going to bite on that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So other than that, but at the, during the first Julio controversy, I mean, he didn't say anything then. And I don't really remember any players really saying anything either. But
what was the first one again?
Huh?
What was the holdout?
Oh yeah. The money.
Yeah. I don't really remember it being anybody else saying anything either then, but I don't know.
But even still, I don't think was it kind of unprofessional for him to say I'm out of there? Yeah. But it wasn't like when you said he made the organization look bad. I don't think he necessarily made the organization look bad. I think he didn't really badmouth the organization, but he just kind of stated he knew he's going to be moved probably, and just said, I want to go somewhere where I can win.
Not only that, but it's like you got to put in context the fact that he's the one who requested the trade. You can't just be like, oh, well, he thought, it's likely that he felt like he's going to get moved now. He's the one who wants out.
Well, the
for
rule
him to be like, I'm out of here. That's
but,
like him being like, oh, it's almost like it's a different level to being like, oh man, they're about to let me go. Oh man.
But there have been rumors about him getting traded, about us trading him well before he asked to be traded in March.
I'm just saying, but that's rumors are rumors.
Those are usually generated by fans.
Right. Until you actually hear, okay, he wants out of here. It's different. Everything he says after that point takes on a different context.
And I find it interesting that they leaked today that he asked to be traded in March after the whole thing, this whole controversy blew up.
I mean, that's like, it takes controversy sometimes to get to the truth.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the Falcons still have an image to uphold with their fans, and they're not going to be the ones that take the PR hit and the fan hit by just letting Julio, run the narrative. They're now going to shape their future with their fans. Like, look, we didn't want to trade him. We asked for, first round picks for him. Like, if we're going to get rid of the best player in our franchise's history, we want the best pick possible. He asked in March, we don't really want to trade him, but now it's to the point of where, Julio doesn't want to be here. Like, what are we going to do? We can't have a player that doesn't want to be here. So they're in damage control mode. Like, I get that it looks suspicious that we've leaked all this type of stuff, and it's like we're saying he wants the Patriots and the Titans. He asked to be out in March. We asked for first-round picks. No one wants to give a first-round pick. That's what we feel like we need back in order to get rid of Julio without any critical damage. Now it's on, and it's working because you see a lot of it in the forums. It's the Falcons' job to be like, look, we don't want to get rid of you. We're the victims here. Julio wants out because he wants to win, or he doesn't feel like he can win here. So, yeah, they're definitely shaping the narrative, as they should, because they have tickets to sell. At the end of the day, this is a business. At the end of the day...
Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
At the end of the day, it's their job to maintain a happy fan base that consumes their product and buys their merchandise.
And you have to, when you comb through the comments of any post regarding this, I'd say 70% of people are mad at the Falcons for some reason. About, I can't believe that they chose Matt Ryan over Julio, or I can't believe that we didn't take a quarterback and start this. It's like Ryan said, they have to control this narrative because the way Julio sort of handled this, it makes us look like the bad guys.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Even if Julio didn't ask for a trade, you still have fans pissed that we didn't go quarterback. I mean, it is what it is, bro. Like I said, you're not gonna please all your fans. You're always gonna have people pissed at you because now our potential greatest player in our franchise history wants to leave. So it's like, we've been losing. We're a part of a losing culture. What looked to be change has gone back to a losing culture, and it's just, what direction are we heading in? So, I mean, I can understand why he'd want to leave because, I mean, I'm not mad at him. I'm not necessarily mad at the franchise. I'm more so mad at the franchise because of the cap situation we're in, but I'm not mad at them for potentially making him want to leave. I don't think that's the case, and I'm not mad at Julio. Good luck to him in the future, wherever he goes. So
I'll just say, when anybody ever says something that frankly, I'm out of here, I think it 100% paints wherever they're leaving in a negative light. I'm out of here. It's not like he was saying, oh man, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but I don't want this to happen, but we might have to part ways. He was being candid as hell, and in the way he said it, it definitely put the onus like we did something wrong to him, which may be the case, but at the same time, it's a corporation's job to spin that.
Hey, maybe he's salty because he can't get that back shoulder lob in the back of the end zone, man. That might be, man. Throw me the fade. Throw me the fade.
One of the little rumors was that which like it invalidated this rumor totally to me. But what someone was like, I guess last season he was saying that when Cam was a free agent, he was saying Matt Ryan lost a little bit of zip on his ball, and that we should bring Cam Newton in. Yeah, which is funny because has he seen Cam Newton play?
I mean, he wants to go play with him, man. Like, yeah, you may go up there and Cam can throw the ball 70 yards still. Well, maybe with that shoulder, but I think he's going to miss that accuracy, that ball being put at least in a catchable area more often than it's not.
Well, worst case scenario, they got Mac Jones, right?
I mean, honestly, like
the great Mac Jones.
That would be the better pairing up there, in my opinion. A guy who's going to get the ball out quick into the right place, and when there's a deep ball option, that man can chuck it. He's like Mac Jones is if you took Cam Newton's arm strength and shoved it inside of Matt Ryan's body.
I don't know if he had quite Cam's arm strength.
No, yeah, not quite there, but he's probably 90% of 95% of
he has a much better arm than Matt does.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a little more athletic than Matt as well. Not by much though.
His walk is worse than Matt, so good God.
That needs to be one of our intros. Like for the Gritz Blitz, it needs to be all of our sound effects with Mac Jones just strutting.
Walking through.
Well, we would get demonetized every time though, because that's NFL film. So the last bit of the coach side of this and the team side of this, and I think it's very important. I don't think a lot of people are covering this from what I've seen, but through Terry Fontenot and the team, the statement was made that the Falcons are very aware of their cap situation. They know where they are. Like, they're not oblivious to where they are. They know they can't sign their free agents right now, and they have to make a move of some sort. As we've talked about at length and ad nauseum on this show, trade Julio, restructure the players that have already been restructured, and restructure Grady, or do something with Julio and just restructure Grady. Those were your options. The Falcons said they have many different avenues and many different options that they can still pursue to help their cap situation. So, again, another PR move. They're saying, look, this is not our preferred method. We can do other things, and we're working with that. And you heard Grady last week say that, if you want to restructure me, hit my agent. I don't talk about this. My agent will handle it. But I think that, maybe I think there's a 0.5% chance that Julio stays here, that we can salvage this and we restructure some other guys and extend some other guys and get them on some, friendlier contracts for the team. But I think they're really trying to shape this narrative to save it for the fans and be like, look, guys, we really didn't want to get rid of Julio, but we had to. He forced our hand. And damn, I lost my train of thought. There was something I was going to add to that. They're trying to save themselves from, even though we will save quite a bit of money this year and only have like a $7 million cap hit this year, Julio will carry a $15 million cap hit next year. So right now we have $14 million of dead money based across I think it was like 7 players, like Trufant, Rico, Allen Bailey, and like a couple other guys sprinkled in there. But that's like 7 guys that cost us that much. Just by getting rid of Julio this year, we'll have that much and then some next year just from Julio. So we can't really get rid of anybody else in the future. But I'll end this segment with 2 questions for you as I mute myself on accident. Does all of this that has come out and all of this information that come out, does it help or does it harm the trade value for Julio Jones? Because it's created a bidding war now, essentially, that the Falcons have said, all right, look, yeah, we'll listen. And now that it's out in the media that all the fans are going to know, and they're going to be tagging their teams, we want Julio, we want Julio, we want Julio. Does it help our hand or does it hurt us, Micah?
It helps in the aspect that he really wants to go, but I think it hurts because it's kind of it kind of portrayed him as kind of a diva in a way. So certain teams might not be willing to offer as much because it's like, as great as he is, I don't know if we want to deal with that. So I think it has helped and hurt in some ways.
Marco, what you got?
I think the only thing it hurts is sort of our ability to negotiate, because I think teams start to see this as a perilous situation for us. Even though I don't know how much it moves the needle. I think if we're on zero and there's a negative and there's a positive, I think we just went over to maybe like negative 1 or 2.5, 1.5 or 2, just because I think everybody already sort of knew how perilous the situation was, and there's probably been a lot of dealings and machinations behind the scene already that we're unaware of. So if it hurt anybody, it hurt the Falcons more than it hurt Julio, because everybody knows what he brings.
I'll say it like kind of what Micah was saying, but flopped. It helps. It hurts Julio. Wait, how do I want to say this? It helps us to get more because they know, like they now know that Julio wants out, and that teams are going to put their hats in the ring on this. But it drives up the value because, one, now more teams are going to be interested in calling us. But also, we're saying we don't want to get rid of him. Like, this is a player-driven thing. Kind of like how when Green Bay said, like, we don't want to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers was saying he wanted out. Teams that called Green Bay were being told, it's like, look, you want Aaron Rodgers, it's like 2 firsts and a third. We don't want to get rid of him. So if you want him and you want this man on your team, bring it. I know it's a little different because cap-wise, I know that Aaron Rodgers is only it's like a $5 million or $7 million cap hit this year.
Well, for Green Bay, not for whoever gets him.
No, I mean, like, all his guaranteed money is gone.
Well, I know, but the salary is still there.
True.
So,
but yeah, I think that's it could go either way. I'll put it that way. And then lastly,
okay. So how does the fact that more people? So are you saying that before this incident happened, that maybe there were some teams that hadn't thrown their hat in the ring yet?
There were a couple teams out there that were like, you know what, let's try and do this because we know things are changing out there. We need to make a big change. We need to get like a big time receiver. Like, let's see if Julio's available. Like the Patriots, for instance, they've always been involved in this, and they were willing to make that move. That's a guy that they wanted. But now that this is like national attention, national media, like I think the teams like Indianapolis are now going to get involved. Like teams like San Fran are now involved. Teams like the Chargers are now involved. Even the Titans. The Titans are a team that a lot of people are looking at. It's like they don't need Julio, but now that he's like, I would like to go to the. I mean, yes, they could always use him, but he's a 32-year-old receiver. They have A.J. Brown. I know they lost Corey Davis and John.
And like Humphreys. And so, yeah, they could use somebody to go opposite A.J. Davis.
Right.
A.J. Davis.
But it's not like wide receiver is not like one of their number one needs. I believe they drafted one as well, if I remember correctly.
It'd be funny as hell for Julio to have Tannehill throw into him for the rest of his career.
Boy, when he said that Tennessee was one of his preferred options, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, Tannehill's good now. He's not Matt Ryan.
He's like, would you put
got a stronger
arm
arm
below Kirk Cousins?
Tannehill above or below Kirk Cousins? Push.
Yeah, that's about the same.
I think they're right about the same. Like Tannehill brings his mobility.
Yeah. Kirk's a little more accurate, but Tannehill's a lot more mobile.
Yeah. All right, last thing before we close out the first half of the show and the Gritz Blitz. Does this sully your image and your memory of Julio for the Atlanta Falcons? I'll start this off by saying no. It like right now the immediate factor is like, I want to be like, fuck you, Julio. Like, stay here. I want you here because like it's still Julio Jones. You love seeing those type of players finish their career out with the team they were drafted by. I'm sure it hurt New England fans. It broke their heart when Brady was like, all right, well, this is it, and then moved on. I don't want to see Julio go somewhere else and win. I don't, because you're like, damn, that still could have been us. He's not supposed to be catching balls for anyone else except for the Atlanta Falcons. But I think in the long run, no, I'll always view Julio positively and just be in awe of what he did here. 300 yards in a game, the catch in the Super Bowl, the Luke Kuechly catch, the tracking down, what's his name?
He did a couple.
The Tampa Bay linebacker.
Highlight. You saw that thing on
Quan Alexander?
Yeah, tracking Quan Alexander down when he was just like, all right, time to go get him, and just boom.
His defensive highlight reel is elite. There's like
it
6
really
or
is.
7 tackles in that highlight.
Bruh.
Oh my god!
That when we played the Cowboys that year, and Jeff Heath almost got that interception, and he speared him.
Bro, he killed Jeff Heath.
He just threw the ball in the air like no.
Marco, I want to go to you next on this one because I want to end in this with Micah.
Did it change? So I'll say that in 2017 or 18, I mean, that's when my opinion of Julio started sort of tanking, because I just thought I was very upset with him for how little production he had in the season before. In terms of just scores, obviously his yards are always going to be high, but in terms of scoring, and then to come back and be so stern about wanting a raise, that I always sort of looked at him with the side eye from then, and then, and then any moment where he would drop important catches, I would be like, see,
the Carolina one.
Yeah. So I don't think this made me look at him a little bit more cross, but not much. I figured behind the scenes, like, this was the type of energy that was in his heart.
I blame the Migos. Ever since he started hanging with the Migos, that's when
he was there. He was there when that fight was about to break down.
Right. In the Hawks games, whatever John Collins said to him.
Oh God.
Because John Collins was like, they were at the game and they asked him, "Oh, what were y'all talking about?" He was like, "Oh, we were talking about how we're sort of both in the same situation," and that
Did he?
Blah, blah, blah.
I missed that one.
Yeah, you didn't hear that. It was on he was on Dukes and Bell.
Oh wow, yeah, I missed that. That's crazy. All right, Micah, what's your opinion, long term and now, of Quintorris Lopez-Jones?
I mean, it is what it is. It's a business. I pretty much knew that we'd eventually probably have to part ways with Julio, despite the fact that Arthur Blank said that he'd be a lifetime Falcon. We know that as much as he made and as much as Matt made, one of them was going to have to go, and pretty much knew Julio would be the one that would leave first. It does not sully my opinion of him. I mean, he's still the greatest receiver we've ever had. Still arguably my favorite player in the NFL right now, despite the fact that he's no longer a Falcon. So, I'll miss him. Definitely miss him, but I hope that, and I miss what he brings to the table outside of even just being on the field, because I know Frank Darby was really looking forward to working with him, and I really would have loved to seen him help develop Frank Darby, but
he would have been perfect for Darby.
Yeah, but unfortunately, all great things eventually come to an end. So, good luck to you, Julio.
Yeah, and for those of you watching and listening, tell us in the comments, does this change your opinion of Julio? Does it, make you hate him now. I think we kind of know what Harvey's going to feel like on this one. We if he has any number 11 jerseys, well, it'll be the fire starters for him here in the future. But yeah, let us know what you think about
Shout out to Rebel Blue Productions.
Yeah, what's up? They still in here? I saw them. Looks like it. But that pretty much does it for football for us. Oh, and in response to all this, the Falcons signed Tajay Sharp, the wide receiver who was with the Titans last year, who was another guy who had a lot of potential, could possibly be a big-time slot guy, but never really panned out.
Where did we get the money from?
That's what I want to know. I was like, I thought we had like $896,000. We're like, we're broke. Can't get anyone else. And they're like, oh, Julio wants out. Sign him quick. It's like, hold on.
No free agents. No, haven't signed any of our draft picks. Like 800,000 should at least sign like Frank Darby.
Yeah, if I'm Darby, I'm sitting there like, hold up.
Wait, you just signed this guy and you said you didn't have money to sign me yet?
What am I, chopped liver?
Got me a rookie camp out here, potentially could get hurt.
With no contract?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know where they got that money from. But
that's funny. I thought the same damn thing. I was like, wait, hold on.
Because the second round, like anything beyond like third round is a pretty much $750K a year.
Bruh.
Like that, yeah.
Maybe beyond fourth round. Might be
Fontenot pulled one of those Saints moves. Hey, just clear just a little bit of cap.
He's closing the safe behind him as the money's pouring. I was like, no, we're broke. We don't have any money.
We can't sign you guys until we trade Julio.
So June 1st officially be Julio Day.
I mean, it's definitely going to be Julio Watch Day. That's for damn sure. So, yeah. That does it for the Gritz Blitz. That does it for the first half of the show. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back in a little bit. Thanks so much for tuning in the first half, and stick around for some good basketball talk, as always, and a little bit of baseball talk. We will be back in a little bit. Peace.
Okay, so all the
those. You should have got them triple Bs, bro.
All right,
The
y'all.
triple Bs
Welcome
are
back
out of
from
my
the
price
break.
range.
Marco and Micah are having a fierce debate on who's going to be the
Just for
first to
everybody out
buy
there.
triple B slides.
Man, I'm
Buy
too
some Steph Curry's.
I'm too concerned that if I bought some triple Bs, I'd be walking through the mall and then my shoes just blow up on me in the middle of the mall.
Honestly,
Try to
I
walk.
bought these
you have to
Steph
change them
Curry's,
out at every corner.
I found a pair of Steph Curry's for $33 plus shipping.
Oh man,
I never
Trying to-
Brand
liked
new.
Under Armour basketball shoes. I didn't like the way they fit.
I don't either, but I need something because all my old shoes from like high school, every time I try to play basketball with them, they explode. And the bottom of the shoe just, I guess the glue is dried out on all those like retro kind of Nike shoes.
Yeah.
And then my Hirachis blew up. I was like, oh no.
Nikes.
Oh, not your Hirachis.
Nikes are about the
Classic.
only shoes that I can really buy though.
Yeah,
So-
they were asking for too much though. They had that precision.
Yeah, that's the downside. But Nike is one of the few shoes that I actually know what my foot size is in those, so I can buy those versus like Reebok or Adidas. I don't necessarily know what size I wear in those. So and most stores don't carry them, so I can't try them on. So I got to buy them blind.
If you buy Kyrie's, those are almost like Adidas. It's like if you have wide feet, don't buy Kyrie's.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Adidas always, because I've got thick and wide, well not super wide, but mainly thick feet, and Adidas would just.
But that's probably why so many people get hurt. Folks who are sponsored by Adidas or get injury prone.
Now I will say I love my pair of T-Max back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are classic shoes. I love those. Was it the twos with the sort of shiny blue?
I had the ones, and then it was a late adapter into the twos. But
Did
I
you
didn't
ever
like the
have-
twos as much?
Did you ever have the Crazy Eights? Yeah, the Kobe's. Yeah, the old Kobe's.
Those look terrible. Is that the one? The ones that look better? Because I know the first couple Kobe's look really bad. They look
Yeah.
like submarines.
Yeah, I didn't
I
like
remember-
the early pair. I liked the Nike Kobe's, like when they were just like a Nike shoe, but
Yeah.
like these are the ones that Kobe wore. I forget what those are called. Those weren't.
He pretty much took the Hirachis and made them cool.
Yeah, you had the Mambas. That's when they started doing the snake pattern on it too.
But Marco,
What's that sound? What's that sound? Sounds like it's time for the layup, aka the finger roll, aka jelly time, aka points in the paint. Yes, sir. Let's see how fast I can get it this time.
It sounded like you were trying to do that old Nike commercial with the dudes dribbling.
Probably still one of the best commercials ever made.
I love that commercial.
Oh man, I forgot to send y'all the commercial. I referenced the old little Nate commercial a couple episodes ago, and neither one of y'all remembered the commercial.
Nate?
Yeah.
Nate Robinson?
No, it was the NFL Play 60 commercial where Cam Newton's talking to this little kid, and the little kid's talking about taking his job, growing up big and strong to take his job.
No, you're gonna have to
Let's see. I'm gonna play the audio in the background here so people can hear it. Oh,
Cam,
no.
thanks a lot.
Wait. Maybe I shouldn't.
No, yeah, maybe not. I'll send it to y'all in the group chat.
Oh,
So-
no, I have to watch this.
basketball, man, and for any basketball head, this might be the best time of the year because it is playoffs. The one sport, I mean, hockey, you could talk about hockey too, but who cares about hockey? So the one sport where it's like whoever wins this truly deserves it because you cannot fake 4 games in a 7-game series, and the NBA is the greatest playoff in my opinion. But speaking of playoff, so the West betting favorite odds have the Clippers and the Lakers as the odds-on favorites to come out of the West. Obviously, can't have both, but it's the Lakers and the Clippers are slightly under them. But in their game ones on Saturday, I think they both played. Both the Clippers and no, Lakers played Sunday. Both of them fell in their first games. Where the Lakers' two stars looked absolutely terrible. Neither of them scored over 20 points. And then the Clippers stars, PG and Kawhi, both put their points in, but they had terrible shooting percentages. I believe they were both sub 20% from the three-point line. Paul George sort of he started the game with his pandemic P jitters, where he literally airballed 2 of his first shots. It's like, bro, what is it?
He's so bad.
Phoenix, on the other hand, against the Lakers, they looked young and spry. Devin Booker looked like a killer, like a demented kid. He had that look in his eye, that playoff look in his eye. I was like, oh my God, this kid, he's on 10. And then Ayton looked like an all-star, which was a little shocking for me. In the other game, Luka played an amazing game. And then his sidekick, Tim Hardaway, his sidekick's not even KP anymore. It's Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway is the second most consistent player on that team.
Honestly.
And he came through, dropped 21, had that auspicious that charging. Did y'all see that charging call?
Mm-mm.
Were y'all watching? There was this charging call where he had 1 foot planted, and then Kawhi ran into him. They challenged it and everything, and then the ref was like, he had established 1 foot in a defensive position. I thought you needed 2 feet to take a charge. I thought they're making up rules on the fly.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the rule, but yeah, I think it is 2 feet.
Yeah, you can't.
Or at least in a defense. I don't know. Is it in the? Keep talking. I'll look that up.
I'm gonna stand in the Karate Kid crane position, and I'm established.
Right. Just move my body. It's like you have 1 foot planted. I was like, oh. I was like, wait, when did that become the rule? So anyway, and then KP seemed completely out of phase. I think he only made like maybe 4 or 5 shots, and he had 1 dunk at the end to sort of seal the game, but he looked pretty bad. So I want to sort of ask y'all, are these LA teams that are both odds-on favorite or the top favorites to come out the West in trouble in these series? And then sort of just like talk about, you can break it down how you want to, but touch on things like, is this pandemic P a fact of life at this point? And can LeBron James still dominate the basketball game physically? Because it sort of looked like he's lost a little bit of that. Maybe it's him coming off after not playing for 6-7 weeks. But what y'all thinking about these Lakers these LA teams right
now? Micah, you can go first because I'm still reading about this.
I honestly think both of them. Even though I think both of them are probably the better team in the series. Well, I can't even say better team, but they have the bigger name talent in the series. I think they both could turn it around, and they have the experience. They could both turn it around and just turn it on and potentially take over the series. But I think the teams that they're playing are younger and very talented and are hungry. And meanwhile, these are 2 older teams in ways can kind of take things for granted. So I think they both can be in trouble at times. And they both could potentially be in trouble if they don't like lock in and focus and get back on track. I think Phoenix didn't surprise me. I've been watching them. The more and more I've kind of looked into them, the more and more impressed I am with them. They made a statement last year in the bubble, going 8-0 in the bubble. It was just like, this is a completely different team. And the fact that they beat the Lakers the way they did, and Chris Paul was pretty much incapacitated because his shoulder was hurt, so he couldn't even shoot the ball. He really didn't contribute much on offense outside of occasionally, just passing the ball and whatnot. But he couldn't really offer much on the offensive end. So the fact that Devin Booker, I don't know how they plan on combating Devin Booker. how do you defend him? Because dude is just taking his game to another level.
They can start by sending another guy, which they really didn't do.
Yeah, well, they tried to do it. They actually did try to do it, but he made the right decisions. He passed the ball, he hit the open man, and a couple of the other guys hit shots when they needed to. So that was huge for them.
Bridges has been killing it.
Yeah. Ayton did what he had to do. Ayton was a beast on the boards. He was a monster. And in ways he looked like he wanted it so much more than AD. It's all, and now, it's the, I don't know if it's necessarily kind of physically tired, being physically tired from going so deep in the bubble last year or what, but that Phoenix just looks like they have everything in the world to prove. And the Lakers, I don't know if they just weren't prepared or they just thought this team's not that good. We're just going to go. We're the Lakers. We're going to handle business and get through this. But, they could be in trouble. So.
Remind me of the questions again. It was.
Is the pretty much just your commentary on this, and then like sort of if you want to comment on Pandemic P and if this is a fact of life at this point, and can LeBron James still dominate the game physically like he's so accustomed to doing, even though he looked pretty much like he didn't have that ability in Game 1.
I'll answer it backwards. No, LeBron can't physically dominate like he used to. I mean, he still can in ways just by sheer size, but he's not gonna. It was size plus quickness that made LeBron just so insane. It was 250 running at you like a 190-pound guard. It was just crazy.
Brown coming down the lane.
Yeah, honestly, it's just he can't do that anymore. He's become. You kind of nailed it the other day when you called him an old head. He plays like an old head now. He hits those faders. He hits those deep threes. He doesn't move a whole lot on the court like he used to. He doesn't take those quick cuts. He'll take an open, off-ball cut and get a nice dunk on it. But you don't really see him blow by someone and really just explode to the rim like he used to. Those knees are still carrying around 240, 250 out there. So it's not like he used to be. Pandemic P, I don't even think that's fair to call him that. He's always been this in the playoffs. He's not a good playoff player.
I will say no. So before his gruesome injury, he was a guy who led that Pacers team to the Eastern Conference Finals and was going head to head with LeBron multiple years.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say he's never been good in the playoffs.
But even in some of those matchups in the playoffs, like when it came down to important times, he didn't get it done. I remember vividly he would defer to Granger in some of those. And that Pacers team was just so good, man. Way too good to have never made a finals.
Where Hibbert just fell off.
Yeah, literally just fell off the face of the earth.
Paul George went
literally. Roy Hibbert got visited by the Space Jam alien. And they never gave him his talent back though.
No, remember Paul George literally took care of his girl, and then after that Roy Hibbert just became a shell of himself.
But as far as the Lakers and Suns series, this Suns team, I mean, there's a reason when we were making our picks last week, I hesitated because I wanted to pick the Suns. They're a damn good team. They're really good defensively. They've got a lot of young talent, and they play excellent. Their chemistry is just beautiful to watch out there. They've got that chemistry that young teams get where they really start to believe in each other and they just feel unbeatable. They don't feel like they're the Suns anymore. They feel like they're a team that's got it all together. And, that's in part to having Chris Paul. He's instilled that in them. He's had that ability, that calming presence in moments where it gets a little out of hand. But also, they've got some really good stars on that team. Devin Booker is just insane. Devin Booker is approaching Kobe light territory as far as his ability just to score at will. from that wing position, and
even
that's
Kawhi or the proto or went down that path.
yeah. So I mean, and when you have someone like that where you can get on the ball and like he's a bucket, like we can get a bucket just about any time. Ayton's playing really really well. Mikal Bridges is making all the right plays defensively and being in the right spot offensively to get shots and making those big shots. Like they're a really good team, and even someone like Cameron Payne, even though he got launched the other day by what was his name? I always Trezor.
Trezor, yeah.
Like literally, he came in there just to like break it up. And you see Cameron Payne go woo, like vertical.
I don't know if he came in a little too hard to just be breaking that play.
Well,
I think he pushed him, but he didn't think he was gonna fall that.
Right.
Way.
I mean, Cameron Payne probably weighs like $180.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, let's see, what's he weigh? 183, 6'1", 183, and Trezor is 6. I'm gonna say 6'8", 6'9". 6'7", 240. Yeah, he's got 60 pounds on the guy.
He just like
Trezor had a running start and then pushed him. It was like, oh crap!
Yeah. Oh, come here.
Right.
So,
I'm not getting ejected for this.
I think the biggest thing though, and what's really hurting the Lakers this year is that they have big men, but they don't have athletic big men. Like other than AD, who's not 100%. He's getting back there. But AD's never been able to shut down like a true center. He can hold his own and be a good weak side defender on it, and he'll slow them down a little bit. But when you throw like a big center in there against them, it's just not his forte. It's not what he wants to do.
Andre Drummond should be enough to pacify Ayton.
Should be, but look, and here's what when I was watching that first game, what I was really noticing is Ayton's way more athletic than Drummond. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to like getting out and open, that's why they couldn't play Drummond that much, is because they can outrun. When Drummond's on the court, they can just outrun that team.
Right.
It just doesn't work for him, and that's what when losing JaVale McGee or Dwight, Dwight's an athletic big that can get out and run. JaVale's a guy who can get out and run. Drummond can't do that. Marc Gasol can't do that.
I said that though.
Yeah, you did. And that's where I really saw the difference in this series going. Like if the Lakers want to win this game, they're going to go small.
And they got to slow that pace down. Like they got to find a way to not get into this like let's launch threes back and forth. And
the weird thing though is even though there was a lot of 3-point shots taken in that game, Phoenix did an excellent job of keeping a pace that they wanted to keep, and it wasn't always pedal to the floor. It was a very deliberate pace of speeding up and slowing down when needed to. If the game got out of hand, you saw them draw it back in and go into those half-court sets and take time away from the Lakers. And it forced the Lakers to put up shots that they shouldn't. So I think the Suns can easily handle them if they keep this up. But we did mention that LeBron likes to lose that first game and seems to lose a lot and then comes back with a totally different look. And he is 5-0 after losses in the playoffs as a Laker. So you don't get by LeBron with the same thing two games in a row.
And Phoenix was playing with so much energy that I wonder like how much is that sustainable for a 7-game series?
Right.
They were going so hard. Like Devin Booker, like I've never seen a person play so intense in my life. Like
here's the only thing I'll say about that. Phoenix is so young that I feel like they might be a team that can kind of keep that pace up just because they're young and they haven't played. They didn't play deep into the bubble last year. They haven't played a lot of playoff games. So there's not a lot of wear and tear on any of those guys. It's essentially they are a team who's basically been in the perpetual lottery. It was almost like Philly. Philly with the what was their motto? Yeah, the process. Trust the process. They had all of these lottery picks. They sucked for so long, and they built all this quiet talent in the lottery, and now it's all starting to come to fruition. And then now you got Chris Paul, who even though I talk a lot of trash about Chris Paul knows the game.
Yeah. And
even though his shoulder was hurt, so he couldn't really take care of the ball the way he normally does. Him being his presence on the court could at least say, hey, D-Book, you run the offense, but slow it down. he can moderate from the side, but he off ball, but he's still, like, hey, you handle the ball, but hey, slow it down. Let's take, shoot with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Let's eat up time versus, a lot of younger teams, they have that. If you don't have that kind of calming presence out there, it's just like run, get points, score quick. Like, no. Now we got the lead. We're up by 10. It's 5 minutes left. Let's start slowing the pace down and using the clock to our advantage. And it didn't hurt that, the Lakers had a lot of bad turnovers late because Mikal Bridges was just jumping passing lanes like crazy.
Yeah, and I will say this to wrap up my part of the question is, one, Chris Paul is the definition of a point guard. When Dr. James Naismith wrote his positional definitions, like, Chris Paul plays that. He's a guy that facilitates the offense, makes the right passes, and is the quarterback of the team, for lack of a better term. But also, what did I just do? Everybody's gone. We're back. The Clippers aren't a good team. They're just not. The way they're constructed, I think the Mavericks can easily beat them. I think that's what I called, actually. It's just playoff P and Kawhi. Like, I'm starting to think that Kawhi was really good in that playoffs, but that Toronto team was really, way better than a lot of people thought they were.
And Nick Nurse is an incredible coach.
Honestly.
But yeah, so I wanted to shout out Chris Paul too, just for being at his size, probably like 5'11". The way he can just go down there and get jump shots like MJ and just hit those little turnaround jumpers and whatever. Like, he's so impressive with that.
At 36 as well.
Right. And what was I gonna say? It's a shame too that they have these the Lakers and Clippers games are both coming on tonight. I think one starts at 10, one at 10:30. So you gotta pick which one you want to watch. So just telling y'all if y'all want to look at that, and also the fact that I picked the Lakers Suns for the Western Conference Finals, but get it in the first round. So I still think I'll stick with. I think the Lakers are still gonna win, and in 7, and I think the Clippers. They'll win in 7 too.
Quick question, Marco. You placing any side bets on this game tonight?
On which one?
On the Lakers game tonight.
No, I don't have any action on that.
So you didn't put a side bet on the fact that, like, LeBron is wearing either KT tape or a shoulder harness or something tonight? Shoulder brace?
No, I did not. I could almost. That's probably the odds were probably like -600.
Bro, when I watched the replay of that, I didn't notice that after the fight broke out, Chris Paul helps LeBron up and he walks over to where the fight was and then grabs his arm, grabs his shoulder. It's like, wait, what?
Do they not fine people for flopping anymore? Like, how has LeBron not gotten a fine yet? Like, he's been ridiculous. I've seen some of the most flagrant flops like this season, and I haven't heard anything about LeBron getting.
I don't know if they stopped finding people for flopping or they just don't find him for it.
Yeah. Speaking of preferential treatment, so before we get to this, let's just get it quick.
Also, KCP doesn't need a start for the Lakers. It needs to be Talen Horton-Tucker. Like, KCP is trash. Trash.
He's not trash. He was like part of the reason they won the championship last year.
Okay, well, KCP is trash this year. KCP's that up and down player that's like, he's either decent or really bad.
Him and Caruso sort of trash. But so moving on. So basically there's been a lot of controversy about LeBron in this protocol gate. That more or less started when LeBron took all the so basically before the play-in game, it might have been after the play-in game, but I think it was before the play-in game. He attended a party with Drake, and everybody got all up in arms when David or Adam Silver came out and said that he was cleared for game 1, that there would be no worries about him missing game 1. Pretty much, and that the reason it got so hot and contentious was because players like LaVine and LeVert had to miss pivotal games throughout. LeVert in the play-in, he had to miss the play-in because of protocol, and LaVine had to miss like 11 games at the end of the season because of protocol, which pretty much took them. They probably would have had that Washington spot had it not been for that. But so what the NBA stated, though, was that LeBron had actually taken the necessary precautions. And then before they put the statement out, I said that they were probably going to come out with something like this. The fact that he had taken the necessary precautions and that everybody, I guess, at this party was tested.
And vaccinated.
Well, I'll get to that. That he attended with Drake. And we obviously know Drake is a friend of the league. He's actually an ambassador for Toronto. So he actually is an employee of the league. And then they also stated that this was not unprecedented, as it happened several times this season. And then they also threw a little piece in there about vaccinated players being allowed to attend promotional functions, which anything LeBron is, if he's at a thing with Drake, obviously that's a great promo for the league. But the interesting thing about that is that LeBron has neither confirmed nor denied whether he has actually been vaccinated. And that leads me to believe he hasn't been vaccinated, because why would you not? Why would you dance around that question? I can't really see a reason why, if you got vaccinated, you would be like,
yeah, I am.
Answer that. Right, exactly. So that it seemed a little bit weird to me that they threw that in there. So I want to ask y'all, what do y'all make of all this? And did people overreact to this whole story?
No, it's not an overreaction. It's preferential treatment to the league's darling. I mean, that's what it is. Like, granted, I know there was all the testing there. There was all that type of stuff. And we are in different times versus when, Sweet Lemon Lou Pepper Lou, Sweet Lou Lemon Pepper Lou went out to, a club and got wings. We're in the middle of...
That was a year ago, so even in the context of the last couple months, there's been...
Yeah.
LeVert and LaVine were just in the last month.
Like Karis LeVert, right. He got, suspended 10 games or something like that? And Zach LaVine was out for back into the season?
Yeah, LaVine was out for 11 games, and LeVert missed both playoff games, play-in games.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is preferential treatment at the end of the day. It is what it is. You can't not call it that. But... it's a little different than the Kristaps situation. It's a little different than, some of those places they went. It was probably an NBA sanctioned event. Like there were probably NBA funds going into that event somewhere. So yeah, it is a little different. But any other player would get suspended.
Yeah, I agree. But don't believe it was overreacting an overreaction. I don't believe LeBron was vaccinated, like you said. I think there's a lot of things that they want to cover up the face of their league, because LeBron still is the face of the league. He's the most popular player, no doubt about it, no question about it. So, of course, if he does wrong, the last thing they want to do is punish him. That'd be like Tom Brady getting in trouble and Roger Goodell punishing him in the playoffs and being like, yeah, y'all, Tom, you can't, you're getting the 4-game suspension in the playoffs. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, I think that if that's what it was, it's just, he didn't get the Daniel House treatment. So
rocketed out of the
Daniel House had a couple other things that
oh man, but yeah,
too much bubble fun.
Yeah, but now he didn't get the especially the time of the year it is. A player like Zach LaVine and Karis LeVert, those are expendable players in the eyes of the league. You have other guys who are better than them versus LeBron.
expendable teams.
Yeah. Who cares if the Bulls don't make the playoffs? It's the Bulls. So, like, yeah, you're not the defending champions, the best player on the defending champions. You're not punishing him before a playoff run. That would just be suicide to your ratings as far as as far as your ratings go. So
It's funny though that Zach LaVine was finally an all-star, and he probably in his head probably thought, oh, I'm about to start getting some all-star treatment, and they're like, no sir, no sir.
Let me get that rug real quick. Yank.
Right, him and Vooch were both all-stars, and neither they're like, fuck the Bulls. but I will say that I think I'm sort of on the side that it probably was a little bit of an overreaction, just because I know we had talked about this on the show that because we juxtaposed it with the Zach LaVine situation when Kevin Porter Jr. Went to a club or a strip club, got fined $25K, and then the next night dropped 50. So it's not unprecedented. They're right. There were other incidences where they didn't, but at the same time, that does not mean that the NBA is not having preferential treatment just because it happened before. That does not mean that, you know what I mean? So they can hide behind it, but there still is the fact that, like Micah said, this is their cash cow. We're not about to have Phoenix, running around without LeBron out there.
Phoenix sweeping.
There's a reporter on them going, look at this picture of LeBron. They're like, yeah, so about the schedule next year.
Right. So and just to cap that off, like you mentioned Kristaps, but for people who don't know, Kristaps on Sunday actually attended some type of party or function and was fined $50K. And I do not think he's going to miss the game tonight. So
just hope he doesn't get hit with any other chairs. Incident.
You said what?
Just hope he doesn't get hit with another chair.
Right. So that's interesting. So moving on, talking about this Bucks Heat series, which has been pretty compelling, simply because last year the Heat, dogged them out on their way to the finals, and I feel like the Bucks, that's a team that they always sort of struggle against and are afraid of a little bit, but that has not been the case so far in this playoff. They beat them in a close game the first game where Chris Middleton hit a game-winning, I think it was a game-winning 2, and then game 2 they just completely mollywopped them.
Blew them out.
Yeah, just completely mollywopped them.
Game 2 was like, whoa. Are they even supposed to be on the same court?
Right. Drew Holiday is such a beast. He's so strong. He just and all those little guards that Miami has, like Drew can take all. And with Jimmy Butler not wanting to be an alpha scorer, I think them picking up Drew was so huge and just decimating this team.
It's like, who let the Orlando Magic come and play this game?
Right, like Chris or Nunn and Hero and Dragic, and you put Drew on them, they're not
Clamps.
doing anything. Right. So but out of that, I want to ask y'all about this. So it was like a mini controversy about the fact that Giannis in the closing, the game was tied, I think, before it went to overtime. And in the closing minutes of the game, he was called for a 13-second or a 10-second violation at 13 seconds when he was shooting his free throw. And it cost them the ball. Obviously, they ended up winning anyway. So it didn't. That's why it wasn't a huge controversy. But people were sort of upset with the referee for seemingly making what they called a stupid call. But then I want to point out that in game 2, with this in mind, and Giannis having to go a little quicker, he was actually 6 for 7 from the free throw line, and he was 6 for 13 in game 1 when he was taking like 10 plus seconds on each free throw. So I want to ask y'all, are y'all as mad at the public as the public is at the ref for making that call? And then as a little secondary fun question, did this ref potentially help out Giannis in the long run?
No, I'm not mad about it. Like, rules are rules. Like, it's there for a reason, and like, it's just really dumb that the NBA doesn't call a lot of these rules. Traveling, switching the pivot feet, you know, carry. Like, every NBA player walks up the court like this. I'm like, your hand's not supposed to be.
That.
Like, I was getting this call in like high school. Like, why is it now all of a sudden not a thing? I get it. Like, it's, you know, you allow these players to do a little crazier things. But no, I'm not upset about it. Like, if you're taking 13 seconds, it's like, okay, look, man, we won't call it if you're shooting around like 10 or 11, but you're 3 seconds past this. Like, shoot the ball. Right. But yeah, he definitely helps help Giannis out, because free throws and shooting in general is a rhythm thing. It's all about getting to the line and just doing it. The more time you have to think about it, that's why, you know, most people who pump fake or catch the ball when they're stupid wide open, they're like, and their brain kicks in, and it just throws their mechanics way off. So get to the line, get to where you're comfortable, go through your motion, shoot the ball. Don't sit there and look at it and think about it. You're gonna miss your shot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You should call it. I mean, like Ryan said, rules are rules. The rules are there for a reason, and the fact that so many rules have been, that it's almost like the NBA treats certain rules as guidelines. Yeah, they're guidelines. We're kind of loose on them. You know, they're technically rules, but we don't see them like that. You know, I don't want to be the guy that calls it. So, you know, carrying, traveling,
the James Harden step back.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Some of the, like, I saw some play in game 1 where Jason Tatum literally like hopscotch to the left after a step back. And it's like, what the hell's going on out here?
You get 6 steps, buddy.
But I mean, not even just that. You know, was it Van Gundy was calling our game, right?
No, that was Greg Anthony and what's that dude's name? Spiral or something?
Yeah. I like Greg Anthony. I love him when he calls
Greg Anthony was good, but Spiral was a freaking fanboy. Like, get him out.
Oh my God.
No. I was watching on a different station, y'all. It might have been, but they were talking. No, it was the Lakers game. I think Van Gundy called the Lakers game, right? It was Van Gundy and Mark Jackson.
Yeah. No, because the Lakers games. Yeah, you might maybe. Do they do ABC games? Because the Lakers game was on ABC. I know they're usually TNT, but sometimes
maybe I can't remember, but
no, they're ESPN. My bad, they're ESPN. So
I just remember him kind of talking about the inconsistency of calls. Like he said, you know, he's like, I have no problem with them calling that on Giannis, but you have to be consistent on certain things. Oh yeah, it was because they were the Suns were. He was saying lane violation on the Suns. They should have called lane violations on the Suns because they were running in on the free throws way too quickly.
Bro, they're in the lane all the time.
And right. he was like, you know,
Taylor?
He was like, if you're gonna call that, then you have to be able to call the lane violations and stuff like that. So it's like, but that's the thing. The NBA has become so loose on rules now that the only thing that really gets called is foul, over and back, and, you know, something like stepping out of bounds. That's like, those are the only 3 calls you consistently see called in the NBA.
Yeah, just take it on as we go to this next sort of topic. I do want to talk a little bit about like what you were saying about the referees and these calls. Like game 2 of that Portland Blazers series was so poorly called that it was very. But my pet peeve, and you see this, Nurkic was like, I don't think he wanted to play last night or something, but it's like NBA players do this all the time in the playoffs, where it's like, okay, I understand if you're trying to strip and get the ball, but that shit where they like take their hand and they just like sort of put it on another player when they're like back is to them, or they just lightly touch it. Why do you do that? Like they teach you in like the lowest level, like use a forearm, don't use your hand, because you're gonna get fouls. And Nurk got like 2 fouls in like 10 seconds because he just kept putting his hands on people. It's like, keep your hands to yourself. But I don't get NBA players be doing the dumbest thing. But then there was one play where Dame shot a 3 and the dude like slapped him on the arm, no whistle. He was like, he just hit me on the arm.
Like literally.
But yeah, so moving on.
Oh, hold on.
Oh yeah.
On commentators, Did you guys watch the Bucks game last night?
Yeah.
Did you happen to catch the time where Reggie had? This is like when the game, it was like a 35-point game, and Reggie said something along the lines of, "Man, it's pretty crazy to say, it's a 35-point lead in the playoffs, or this is a lead that big." Just starting a conversation that this is a blowout. Marv Albert, without skipping a beat, says, "Not when you're a professional, Reggie. You just call them how you see them." And Reggie goes, "Okay." And just kept it going. Nicole happened to be down in the living room when that happened. We were both like, "What? Does Marv Albert hate
Marv's
Reggie
on
Miller?"
His way out. He's sick of Reggie shit. He's on his way out.
Yeah, this is my last season anyway. Yes.
It's like, shut up, Reggie, you idiot. It's like,
I'm a professional. I'm about to retire. I can say whatever I want to say.
I want to have that discussion though, maybe for another day when maybe the playoffs aren't going on. But I do want to, because I've been watching a lot of these old NBA games, and it's like, and then besides like Chris Collinsworth, the NFL obviously has this, but like I feel like NBA games are missing like analysis, or like that guy, like some of those guys who used to like really just give you good information while you're watching the game of things that maybe the casual fan doesn't know, like what, like describing like, okay, what kind of play they're running, or what they like, the Tony Romo kind of thing, where it's like they give you insight. Man. I feel like it's just so much fluff these days. It's
that's why I like Greg Anthony.
Well, right, Greg Anthony's good at that,
and Mark Jackson too.
The problem is so many of these companies hire these former basketball players that don't really have personalities. They're just big names. I mean, Paul Pierce was an analyst, for God's sakes.
Well, no, because I'm talking. Look, he was an in-studio guy. I'm talking about more so during games. But
the color commentary and the play-by-play guys.
Yeah, like Mark Jackson used to be good. Like I was watching a lot of his, but I feel like he's gotten more comfortable. And I feel like almost everybody adapts that sort of like TNT kind of Chuck Kenny. They sort of like, it's almost a little bit too like fun. Sometimes they don't even talk about the game. They're just like, like they're just like,
hey, we can't really talk. We get off on tangents on some crazy things.
But right. I think that's by this. I want to say because I think they feel like some fans want the more casual banter. They don't necessarily, because a lot of folks don't understand the complexities of the game. And if you sit there and talk breakdowns, it's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. So,
well, I mean, that's why a lot of these guys like Flight and all them who watch games and comment on them live, that's why they're becoming popular, because that's the way some people are preferring to watch it. Like hearing Marv Albert and all them talk about this stuff that you've heard for 30 years, which is like the way to do it. It's just not, it doesn't fly with today's culture, I would say. Right. I don't know how to.
And I brought that up because I think, well, I'll table this after this, but I think you meant what I brought up. There's this creator named RB the Breakthrough, and he pretty much posted this whole video about how the NBA pretty much approached him. They said, if you want to be too critical of the league, we'll just continue to shadow ban you. But if you want to work with us, we'll get you in, and then you just don't be so critical, and we'll be a partner with you. So I almost think maybe that they don't want the commentators to be uber critical and uber like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I just sort of miss it because I feel like all that fluff, it gets, sometimes it's okay, but it gets nauseating when you're like watching the Knicks versus the Hawks and they're out here fanboying it up for the Knicks, right, instead of really just being like,
look at that amazing layup.
Right. Oh, Joe Julius. Oh,
hey,
I was down 11.
I was talking to somebody and I said, somebody on my Facebook, and they were talking about the whole Knicks versus Hawks. I'm like, Nate McMillan told the guys this is going to happen. He was fined $25,000 for telling the team that they want the Knicks to win. They want the Knicks to win. So, I mean, it's the truth though. New York team goes deeper in the playoffs. That's big market team going deep in the playoffs for them.
All right, so before we get into Hawks talk, we're gonna be in there. So I just want to ask y'all real quick. I'm gonna go through each, and then you just tell me who's gonna win and in how many games. Okay.
Well, you went fast forward there for a second. That was crazy.
Oh, did I?
I just thought the same thing.
I was like, going twice. Sold.
Twister.
Did you hear what I said? That?
Yeah, I caught it. It just took me a second to process it.
All right. So Utah, Memphis. Ryan.
I'll go Utah still. In 7.
7? Memphis
Yeah.
going 7?
Memphis is playing hard right now.
I say Utah in 6.
I say Utah on 5. LA Clippers, Dallas.
Oh, Dallas. Dallas in 6.
I say Clippers in 7.
Clippers in 7. Denver, Portland.
Denver in 6.
Denver in 5.
I want Portland to win so bad, but their defense is just so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they cannot stop anybody.
But
so
they just went all small.
because Nurkic is terrible.
That's the thing. He's not though. I don't know what he's doing right now.
He's just not good at defense. Like he's okay at offense, and then he's a sieve defensively. Jokic, do you see what Jokic does to him every game?
Jokic makes him look like he shouldn't be on the court, man.
He's doing like Hakeem did David Robinson back in '94. It's like he's just like he's making a point. It's like none of y'all can guard me. So yeah, I have to say Denver in 6, even though I want to say Portland in 7, but yeah, Denver in 6. What's this next one? Phoenix, LA.
LA in 7. Even though I want to pick the Suns so bad.
Phoenix in 6.
Wow.
I could see
LA
that.
in 7. All right, let's go up here. We got Philly, Washington.
Philly in 4.
Yeah, Philly in 4.
Same.
You know, I want to say this real quick. I feel like at this, I think I said it in the chat, didn't I? That I feel like Philly is the best team in basketball right now. Like at this moment.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, do you think half of that's partially due? I mean, look what Brooklyn did to Boston today, though. I mean, do you think it's partially a matchup thing that maybe that we know they're really good. Obviously, they're the 1 seed, but they are playing a team that really had no business in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the reason it looks like this. But I'm just trying to let me qualify that. They're the most balanced and like really good at both sides of the ball. Like they're like almost elite offense and like lower, like I would say really close to elite defense too.
They are so what I'll say is they're defensively they're probably the best team left in the league. They're probably the best team right now defensively. Offensively, I think Bucks are going to edge them out in shooting. Brooklyn obviously edges them out in shooting because I mean you got Seth and Milton and Tobias. I mean Tobias is really stepping up. Yeah. But I mean your point guard can't shoot and Embiid is an okay
he's such a damn good defender. Yeah. Like, just a threat in general.
All right, so moving on. Knicks, Atlanta.
Atlanta and
he wants to say it.
Calm down, Homer. Calm down. It's climbing up my throat. Atlanta in 5. I wanted to say 4 so bad.
I say Hawks in 6.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ryan. I'm with you. I almost even want to say sweep because I just see. We'll talk about that a little bit, but the things that I see.
If we take tomorrow, it's over.
Yeah. Right. The things that I see from the Knicks are worrisome. I saw it in the regular season too. But there's a lot of head down, a lot of head hanging. There's a lot of like, oh, Julius Randle, like. So okay, keep moving on. Milwaukee. Oh wait, I'll say 6 just to be safe. But I'm with you, Ryan. Milwaukee, Miami.
Milwaukee in 5. Like, let me make this comment. Milwaukee is so much better than they were last year. Like, it took them a while to click.
Drew.
But, man, like, not even just Drew. It's Porter and it's, damn, I can see his PJ Tucker. Like,
okay.
Man, those type of guys help so much.
Yeah. Milwaukee in 4.
Yeah, I'll say 5. I think maybe Miami might be able to get 1 at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Drew Holiday getting a point guard as strong and as good as Drew allows Chris Middleton to not have to. He played point guard in the playoffs a lot for them, and it was terrible. So him not having to bring the ball up the court and initiate the offense and just worry about shooting helps him so much. Brooklyn, Boston.
Brooklyn in 4.
Yeah, Brooklyn in 4.
Sweep.
Yes. Like, they're so good. Did you see the box score for that game? There was like 4 players over 20 points for the Nets.
Oh my God.
But that's all. That's what I said though. I said that was the team that as the Hawks, I would have hated to match up with the most, just because they have so much firepower.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is that we do too. So that's the type of team we can. Boston's obviously missing their second best player, and then Kemba in the playoffs is Kemba in the playoffs.
Yeah. well, no, I just figured even if we shot well and put up 130, they're the team that could put up 150. So it's like, good God, it's like an all-star team.
Like, what happened to Cardiac Kemba though? Like, I don't think I've ever seen him have a good playoff performance.
He's such a liability on defense too, though.
You said what?
He's such a liability on defense.
Right. It's just like, they need to trade him. So
you know what?
What's up?
Oh no, go ahead.
Let me just get a little time check. It is 2:24:50. 2:24:40. All right, so Hawks talk. Go. Am I still holding on?
Oh no, I don't know why I said hold on. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so first, before we get into talking about this playoff stuff and some of the tomfoolery surrounding this series, the Hawks, the tiebreakers have been assigned for all the teams outside of the lottery, and the Hawks are officially the 20th pick in the 2021 draft because the Knicks won the tiebreaker. To me, that doesn't make sense, though. It's like, if we're worse than the Knicks, why don't we get the 19th pick? Like, why do they get a better pick than us for being better than us?
And get home court advantage against us.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that tiebreaker nonsense. Like, I feel like if they're better than us, then we should have their pick. But anyway, so they picked 19th, we picked 20th. I know this draft is sort of weak, so it doesn't really matter. But moving on, we're just paired with this team. It's like it's like looking into a broken mirror. We look at the Knicks. Like, all the stats look the same, but the image is so fucked up. So anyway, did y'all see this thing today where the NYC mayor, he made a video today criticizing Trae's foul baiting, quote unquote. And this is after a game where the crowds were chanting F you to Trae the whole game. The announcers, especially the other guy that's not Greg Anthony, which is interesting because Greg Anthony's a New York guy. So you could sense he was excited, but he was trying to be professional. The other dude was going ham.
Mayor de Blasio.
Like, I don't know if it was, I don't know if it was being in, no, not de Blasio. I'm talking about the commentator. During that game 1, he was going ham. Like, they were down 11. Julius was 1. He hit it. He was like 0 for 4 and hit his first shot. He was like, "Oh, only has this. Like, yo, chill out. Like, what is this? And then the funny thing is when you juxtapose that with the game yesterday that they did with Denver and Portland, they were so calm and quiet and, oh, yeah, Denver, they just need to try hard, blah, blah, blah. I mean, mind you, it was a more exciting game, but still, be professional.
I have the clip up of Blasio if you want me to play it for them.
Play that. I don't really want to hear what you got to say, but go ahead.
Let's see. Let's bring this up.
What a loser.
Obviously, y'all won't be able to hear it, but they will.
This is about basketball. I have an important official announcement. This is very serious. Want to get this out? Message to Trae Young on behalf of the people of New York City and anyone who cares about actually playing basketball the right way. Stop hunting for fouls, Trae. I want to quote Steve Nash, one of the great player, great coach. He says, quote unquote, that's not basketball. Trae, that hawk's not going to fly in New York City. Come on. Play the game the right way. See if you can win. I think the Knicks are going to teach you a lesson. This is.
Yeah. So, Micah, did you see the clip like before?
Which clip?
The de Blasio clip.
Yeah,
he essentially says, stop hunting for fouls. You're not playing real basketball.
He quoted Steve Nash.
Yeah, I quoted Steve, like.
De Blasio, get out on the court and try and guard somebody. I want to see you try and guard Trae by yourself.
Not only that, but how about instead of criticizing what we're doing, how about Julius Randle stop taking terrible fucking shots? How about that?
Julius Randle looked like a scrub out there on game.
Right.
Nah. The funny thing, Kenny Smith probably said the most profound thing after that game, and he said, noticing the difference between the Hawks and the Knicks. They're so irrelevant. I almost forgot their name. Said the difference said down in that last minute of the game, nobody wanted to take a shot on the Knicks outside of Julius Randle and Rose and Derrick Rose. Meanwhile, everybody on the Hawks was like, "Ooh, me, my turn to shoot." So it's like you got a team full of shooters, and you have a team like as hot as Alec Burks was.
Lucky.
He was reluctant. He was very reluctant.
Oh, he did the same situation. Pump faked. He pump faked, had an open jumper, and instead of taking the open jumper, he drove the lane, jumped, passed the ball, and then it kicked out to Derrick Rose for the layup that put him up.
The finger. Oh wait.
Yeah. That tied the game up.
But remember, so two things about that. So Trae Burke, the possession before, because he had hit a jumper maybe 3 possessions before, but he got the same exact jumper and he missed it.
Yeah.
So that's why the next time he got the ball, he tried to drive because he got unconfident the fact that he just missed that same shot. But then right before Derrick Rose took that game-tying floater, Julius Randle put up one of the ugliest threes.
Boy, oh my God!
It just ricocheted it ricocheted into the right hands, and Derrick Rose ended up getting it. But yeah, they're close. We'll get to that. We'll get to talking about this. Go ahead, Ryan.
If we can adjust, obviously Alec Burks isn't gonna do that again. He's not gonna put up 30 on us. And what drove me nuts was watching DeAndre Hunter close out hard and jump at him every time. Like, You're already late. There's no need to jump. You're not going to get there and block the shot. Run as hard as you can, get your hand up, then break down. Because all he was doing was going, see ya.
Right.
I was like, come on, man, DeAndre, you know better than this. I know you're a little rusty right now, but stop.
Like, cool. So before we get into that, I wanted to ask you, are New York fans the worst fans in the world? Does God punish the Knicks continuously because he knows that these fans are such sour pusses? Why do they hate Trae so much? Like, what is going on in this?
They're up there. They're up there. But here's the thing: can Trae join Chipper Jones in being the New York killer, essentially? Matter of fact. Because you know how Chipper destroyed the Mets so much that he named his child Shea after Shea Stadium.
Yeah.
maybe maybe Trae needs to put that in his book. If we win this series, what's the Madison? Yeah, you have a daughter, Madison. Why'd you name her Madison? Oh, because I own Madison Square Garden.
I mean, stat-wise, he pretty much has. Every time he's gone to the Garden, he's put up like 30 plus. So.
Oh, well, he got hurt in that one game. We probably should have won, but
yeah, I mean, are they the Knicks the worst fans in the world? No, I think it still goes to Philly. Anytime you hit Santa Claus with batteries, you're pretty much the worst. Like.
True.
I mean, Knicks fans are probably some of the most annoying, and just New York
They're
people.
Obnoxious,
yeah, New York people in general. Like, as a person who's been raised in the South, like, it's not how we are down here. And they're just like, shut up, man. Like, no one wants to hear what you have to say all the time. As I am on a podcast and on YouTube talking, giving my opinion to everyone. I know how that sounds, but, like, they're very just arrogant and obnoxious and annoying, and like, hold on, Micah, damn. Wait a second. He's like, I want it. Yeah, they're as far as arrogance and annoyance, they're number one for sure. Worst fans, Philly and Saints are up there, man. They're just like pretty awful fans. Here you go, Micah.
All I was going to say was Knicks fans are the NBA equivalent of Dallas Cowboy fans, where it doesn't matter what the team is. I feel like this is our year. This is our year right here.
Oh, my God. Every year. We're going to be it.
Knicks all the way, baby. Knicks to the championship, baby.
New Yorkers are the kings of overselling shit. Yeah. They're the kings of, like, having something average and trying to sell it to you like it's, like, the greatest thing that ever happened. What'd you say?
Go ahead.
The New York rap scene.
Nah,
Biggie's the greatest rapper of all time. It's like, no,
bruh. Like for New York to be as dirty as it is, like the city, like bruh, they stay trashing other people's cities. Like, yo, up in New York, yo, you can do this. Oh, y'all ain't got it like we do. Like, motherfucker, y'all dump trash straight on the street corner, but you talk about us,
right? It's such an entitlement. Backwards. Like, in Atlanta, we all feel like, we're probably better than this team, but we should beat them. But, I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks win. For them, it's like, oh, Knicks in 4, blah, blah, blah. Knicks, Atlanta don't even stand a chance. All Trae Young does is this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you don't even talk about your own team.
Like, all he does is cry. All he does is cry and ask for foul calls. He ain't that good.
Right. It's like, oh, yeah, but Julius Randle, like, he's one of the best players in the league right now. It's like, oh, my God.
I mean, he's good, but...
He's good, but this is an anomaly so far.
It's funny, though. A friend of mine posted something on Facebook about, he said that the only player matchup that they have that was better than one of ours, he said that Julius Randle is better than John Collins, but he said it's close. It's not much. It's not much. He said he's close. And one guy was like, nah, he's like, Julius Randle way better than John Collins.
Like, look at this point. Look at
the numbers. I sat there and I thought about it. I said, no. I said, if you put John Collins on that Knicks team, John Collins could put up numbers just as good as Julius Randle.
Yeah. I don't know, because Julius Randle has the ISO ability that John Collins doesn't. So
yeah, but I mean, he also gets the touches, the usage rate that John Collins doesn't eat too. So he gets a lot more shot opportunities than John Collins shot for a higher percentage.
Yeah, I mean, I love John Collins' little intermediate post game has really impressed me this season.
Like,
he throws up shots that you look like, what are you doing? But they all swish, they all swish right in the basket. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, John.
I mean, his post game is dirty.
Yeah, he's really developed
very good,
an amazing post game.
He was like that at he was at Wake, right? Or was he at Vanderbilt?
He was at Wake.
Wake, yeah, he was a good post player at Wake, but NBA, they don't really value the post game, but now that he's developed the outside shot, yeah, he's kind of rounded it out. He's kind of rounded his game out.
I feel like it's like his finesse elements of his post game have really improved because he used to just try to power it in or
drop
dunk on everybody.
Now he can catch the ball, 4 feet away, 4 or 5 feet away, and put a quick little move in and do a little hook, do a little jumper, turn around, and they're swishing. So, congratulations, by the way, to Julius Randle, who won the Most Improved Player this year, and Jordan Clarkson. It's funny, 2 guys who are on those terrible Goodbye Kobe teams both won hardware this year. Jordan Clarkson got that 6th man, so congrats to them. Kobe would be proud.
I forgot that Randall was a Laker.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, he was on. They wouldn't play him. They never played that. Like, he was good back then. They just never played him. It's just that he's that kind of player where it's like either you feature him or he really can't do anything for you. It's like I feel like
he was a tweener. He was kind of a tweener big, and
right.
I remember when they drafted him, I'm like, I mean, he's good, but y'all either need a dominant big or you need a shooter, point guard. Yeah. One of the two, and y'all got neither.
Right. So moving on, another person to get on this. It feels like there's a rain of hate just coming down on Atlanta for some reason. Like Lloyd Pierce came out of the fray. I don't know where the hell he came from. And he was on some radio show or some podcast, I don't know. But they pretty much asked him how they would go. It must have been a New York program because they were asking him how to go about stopping Trae Young. And he was basically saying that they should play him like Denver's playing Dame, which obviously there's a huge issue there. The fact that you can't play him like they play Dame because there's no resistance on Portland, and obviously we're a decent defensive team. But anyway, he said what they need to do is deny him the ball so that he can't get going.
Can't do that with Bogey.
Right, exactly. Look, so I want to ask y'all, first of all, what's up with this guy? Why does he hate Trae Young so much? And is his advice sound?
Go ahead, Mike. You want me to go?
I'll say this: if you is his advice sound? There's a reason he's not a head coach now. No. Okay, you can do that to Trae, but we have a lot more shooters. It's not like Trae is the only one on the court who can shoot. So.
And
take Trae away, and they can't win.
Dame don't pass the ball like Trae do,
bruh.
Not even close.
Lloyd Pierce, bruh. I at one point I had a whole lot of respect for you. Now I'm just like, bruh, what were we doing? Like, what were we drunk? Was our front office drunk or something that they gave this dude a job? Like, God, like, who did he know?
Obviously, Greg Popovich is someone he knew.
Obviously, let's see.
Yeah,
he must not have learned. He must have missed some classes.
Then the rest of the time he was spent learning from Brett Brown, which obviously that makes more sense.
yeah.
Brett Brown.
The same way Kyle Shanahan missed a lesson from his dad on how to close out a game, how to close out a big game.
Like, we have this thing called a running back. running.
Lloyd Pierce,
catcher.
Lloyd Pierce definitely missed a lesson on how to build a success, like how to coach a team from Pop. He just missed all those lessons.
This is like the succession of Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr. Like, no one's gonna go back and be like, "Hey, Mark Jackson, how do you stop Steph Curry?" Like, Mark Jackson would have been like, "Why am I what?" Like, what? Now that he's a broadcaster, they could ask him that. But like, he wouldn't have gone to like the opposing team's media and be like, "Here's how you do it."
Right.
He's such a Trae hater.
He really is.
I don't know. I don't understand why this man hates Trae Young so much. Like, what Trae did to him. Like, I know they played one-on-one a couple times in the offseason. Did he cross him like real bad? Did he break his ankles and then like laugh at him?
Trae? Really?
Yeah. He went out and played with him.
I need to read that Athletic article still. I never read that.
Trae must have made him bust up his favorite pair of Jordans or something.
Right, his wife was there. His pregnant wife was there.
cross him over, look at his wife straight in the eyes, and be like, "I could do you better." I don't know what it is, but like Micah said, I'm not taking any advice from a coach with a 34% win percentage.
Bruh.
That ain't it. Like,
and it's just funny that given the opportunity to speak, he says some stuff that's totally not even relatable. Like, yeah, Dame and Trae are both point guards who score points, but
they both play basketball.
Right? They're both black. Like, but the team situations are completely different. Like, yeah, just deny him the ball. Don't let him get the ball. Okay, coach.
Right. Yeah, go ahead and double team while we have Bogey, Hunter, like
Collins who shoots 40% from the 3-point line.
Yeah, and this is advice for the best defensive team in the league. Like, do you think that?
And like, it's not like Trae didn't fight through double teams the entire season and still get wins and still get people involved and still drop 30. Like,
and he was seeing it happen, and still that's the best answer he could come up with.
Yeah, double him, deny him.
Man, I'm still tripping over him crossing up Lloyd Pierce.
You'll never play again.
Crossing him up in front of his wife, and then pulls the Clubber Lang from Rocky 3. Say, you want a real man, you need to come to my apartment.
That was it for Lloyd. That was the last day Lloyd Pierce fucked with Trae. This was just supposed to be friendly competition. Anyway, so yeah, man, Lloyd Pierce, man, he is a trip. So I just want to get final words as we go into this game 2. I did want to put the only thing, like I said, about the Phoenix and all their energy. There's another another worry that I have. When teams get a little bit too emotionally high, like we did in that game because of our reaction to the fans, I always get a little scared for the way that the Knicks are going to react. In the next game, or whatever team it is. Like, when a team gets all emotionally high, I always get a little bit scared about how the other team's going to react. But just give me y'all's opinions on, first of all, like, what do we need to do to win, and what do you expect from game 2?
Marco, you are right, but it can go either way. It's either it's a launching pad to success, or a lot of times in Atlanta fans' cases, and your scarred heart is why you're feeling this way.
Like, why are you getting excited? Stop.
And then the next game we come out, or we drop the next 4. Like,
right?
Yeah, you live. You're a victim of trauma, Marco. You've experienced a traumatic event known as Atlanta fandom, and that's why you feel that way. But
and the Hurricanes, remember all that turnover chain crap?
Yeah.
They got beat by 60.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Micah.
I'm not too worried about that. I think even though we're still a young team, I think bringing in guys like Lou Will helps with that, because Lou's been there. So I'm sure. Yeah, Capella. I would say Gallo, but
that haircut.
he's been there though. He has been there.
Did Trae do that mohawk for you?
Right. Like I said, he looked like Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver. But they can kind of be like, all right, kind of calm guys down, calm the truth down. Like, we got to stay composed. And like I said, you got as long as we got Lou Will, I'm really, really good, because like that last game, when that game started to get out of hand, Lou Will came in and was just like, I got us. Let's get it back in. Let's get it back right.
Boop, boop.
And yeah, put up like a quick 10. It was like done. I said, that's what I like to see.
I think he only played like 12 minutes or something like that.
Yeah,
it was like it reminded me of Jamal Crawford back in the day when we had him. Just like I said, when he came in, it was just like, oh, you buckets, instant bucket. Oh man, we struggling. Crawford, get in there. Give us some quick buckets. 3. Yep, we back in the game. Let's go. So yeah, that's why I'm not too worried about it. I think the few veterans we have will kind of steady the ship, and I thank God that it's not Rondo because
you see what he's doing in La La Land right now.
Boy.
Damn, I forgot what I was going to say. It's all you, Marco.
Okay, so 2 things I wanted. First of all, like, why in the hell did I'm like pretty confident in our coaching matchup right now, and the fact that Nate is a better coach than Tibbs. Like, why the hell did he put Frank Nicolina in, who hadn't seen the floor all night, to try to guard Trae on that last play?
Yeah.
What was that?
That's probably why Lloyd Pierce, because he saw himself getting crossed up like Milton.
Oh no.
No, he's doing to Ntilikina what he did to me.
Deny him. You just gotta deny him.
Flashbacks. No. Ntilikina gets crossed over. He just looks at his wife.
Trae crossed Ntilikina like 3 times in 5 seconds.
Right.
He's like, no, not that way. No, not that way. No. It's like, what are you doing?
The funny thing was, for a second I thought he actually lost the shoe, but it turned out it was I think it was Collins.
John's shoe.
Yeah,
John
Collins
was supposed to come set a screen, but then Trae saw that he lost his shoe, and he waved him off because he didn't want it to get messy.
I think Julius Randle or somebody stepped on his foot and he lost his shoe.
Yeah. And then apparently Lou told him, Trae, don't pass, just go make a play.
So Ntilikina was just sliding all over the floor.
Ntilikina looked like, what a terrible coaching job. Like, I know you're cold, and I know this guy's on fire. Go get him.
Like, literally, just go. All you gotta do is go wait in that same spot where he shot like all of his floaters from. Like, he shot it from the same spot like every time.
Oh man.
I don't know what the Knicks were doing, man. I don't know what to expect from game 2. But a lot of the one thing I was gonna say though, that doesn't bode well for the Knicks, is their body language when things don't go right is really bad. Like, I remember closing the season out, there was one game where I think it came down to the last play. I forget who they were playing, but Julius Randle was sort of standing at the top of the key, passively wanting the ball. Like, I guess he expected it, but RJ just dribbled, then shot it. And you could just see Julius' face after that. He was like, "What the fuck was that?" Like, he looked so mad at RJ. That kind of thing is not good for team camaraderie and chemistry. Mm-hmm. And also in this game, as bad as a game that he played, his head was down the whole time. He just looked like he was in a terrible mood. Like, he was having a terrible attitude, which is okay. Like, obviously, if you have a bad game, but at the same time, that's not, as the guy who's supposed to be the team leader. Mm-hmm. If you have your head hung, then what the hell are we supposed to expect from the rest of the team?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're just the opposite too. Like, if someone takes a shot, we're like, all right, we'll get the next one.
Right.
It's completely different. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, unless y'all got anything else to say about this series, we can go ahead and move along.
Yeah. Oh, clarification on the charging rule. I got it. I just forgot to bring it up. So it doesn't mention anything about the amount of feet having to be, set. It doesn't say 1 or 2. It just says you have to be, let me get it. To get into a legal position, the defender needs to establish himself in the path of the offensive player before the contact is made. That's all it says.
Oh,
so
okay. So Tim Hardaway didn't do anything. They didn't make up a rule. They just sort of ambiguous. Oh. I've never seen a person get a charge call with 1 foot down.
Yeah, but by the very definition of that, like, are you established with only 1 foot down?
No.
Right.
Unless, like I said, unless you're doing like the Karate Kid crane thing where your whole thing is balancing on that 1 foot.
He just stops. Like, this is intentional.
The refs were so impressed. They were like, "Wow,
holy hell!
Check the balance. Check the balance."
They're like looking at his foot. No. 1 foot down. Look at that balance. But anyway,
so graceful.
That does it for the layup, aka the finger roll, aka jelly time, aka points in the paint.
And you know what that means? Now it's time for the suicide squeeze. So
If you do the whole thing with the Harry Carey voice,
Harry Carey, yeah. No, so this is the baseball segment. There is a lot going on, but you know we got to keep it short because we're getting towards the end.
Season.
The MLB, you know, earlier we talked about it being the 1 year anniversary of the death of George Floyd. Well, the MLB joined the other major sports organizations, the players and other teams, and they honored George Floyd in a post today. This is actually very unusual because typically the MLB has stayed out of a lot of issues. So the fact that they made an acknowledgement is something very big, almost like they kind of trying to change their direction to appeal to a much larger base audience, because I think they know that they have to make some changes because they are getting caught by less popular sports in America. I mean, let's just be honest. It's America's pastime, but I think they want to try to modernize themselves and become more prevalent for the American audience. So, which I think is a good thing. Becoming more progressive is not necessarily a bad thing. It can be very good. So next up, Braves recently had a huge game, and where they set a record where they hit 7 home runs in the game. They also won that game 20-1. So it's very refreshing to see our Braves bats wake up. Hopefully we can keep this going for a good bit longer. Get on a very nice streak. We actually won tonight 3-1 against the Red Sox as well.
Okay.
The Red Sox.
I wish we would have saved some of those home runs for that first game against the Pirates. We should not have dropped any games to the Pirates.
Boy, yeah. But I mean, it is what it is. We won the last 2, and that's all that matters. Austin Riley, what's up?
Did you see that Ozuna left the game with what looked like a dislocated finger?
No.
Yeah.
On what hand?
Wow.
I don't know.
Probably throwing hand, I would say, or maybe glove hand, because that's typically when you get dislocated fingers because where the ball hits your glove. Did you?
Yeah, it doesn't say. It just says.
That's not a big deal. He'll be all right.
Well, all right. Well, I'll keep going. Other news. Austin Riley has been on a tear lately. He's was recently named NL Player of the Week, which is good, a big honor, and he's also the first in Braves third baseman since Chipper Jones to have a 2 home run, 5 RBI game. Chipper, and the last time Chipper did it was in 2009. So it's been 12 years since the last time we've had a third baseman go hit 2 home runs and 5 RBIs in a game. And lastly, on the agenda, Ronald Acuna was.
Hold on, and I want to, because I was looking for this and just now found it. So Austin Riley's line I'll just give this. Over the last 7 games, he's batting .462 with 6 home runs and 11 RBIs. And it's like, okay, that's a hot streak. But then you go back to his last 15 games, he's still batting .400 with 6 home runs and 14 RBIs. Over his last 30 games, he's batting .370.
Oh my God.
He is killing it.
He's found
lighting it up. Chipper done took him under his wing. Chipper's setting them straight. I love it. Now we just need to make Albies hit strictly from the right side of the plate.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, a lot of the offensive issues we had early, it's like they're finally starting to progress and get better. We're starting to work on them, and we're starting to catch fire as a team. Because even even Dansby, as much as he was struggling, he's starting to hit again. And last but not least, Ronald Acuna, the beast, has took the lead in the majors in home runs. So with 15. So he passed Ohtani for the home run lead. Yeah. So, and that's all that I had for us tonight on the Suicide Squeeze.
I was thinking about it as far as bullpen goes. I know we just signed Green.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming up through the ranks. And Will Smith is our closer, but he's proving that he's obviously not the solution there.
I'd rather have him as a setup guy.
Right. We need to trade for a closer. In all honesty, I feel like the solution is shift Will Smith back to the left where he was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And get a closer. Maybe someone like Hader might become available. That's what the Brewers' record is. But I mean, Brewers are they're still in it, so they're 24 and 23. He won't be being traded for a while. But he was a guy that was being floated around last year. I think that would be a huge move for us to get a legit closer again. But
what happened to what's his name?
Who?
Our old closer, Kimbrel.
He was a Cub.
I know they signed him last year.
He's still a Cub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just got another save.
Because if you can get him on a 1 year rental, God, that'd be huge.
People are saying he's been killing it here too lately. Let's see. 2021, 1 win, 2 losses, a .9 ERA, and 10 saves. Yeah. So
God.
He's back.
Yeah.
Such an iconic pitching stance too.
Mm-hmm.
Marco, what are you talking about with your pixels? Is it on this one, the 3?
Huh?
When you were saying you were off? I mean,
the whole frame, like the white and red frame, is like there's black on the right side.
Really?
Yeah. It's usually flush, and there's black on the right side. I think so. I think it's to the left, like 2 pixels.
All right, let's move it to the right then.
Anywho, what was your lightning question from? Didn't you have one last week, Ryan, that you were thinking about?
The pills, the 2 pill thing.
Oh yeah, the pills. Damn, I don't know if I can find that. Where was that? That was. See if I can find it really quick. If not, we'll just move on. They post a lot of stuff.
Was it a red pill, blue pill type thing?
No, it was like if you could pick any of these pills, which one would you pick? But I don't remember where it was or.
Was it like Invincible or?
No, let's see. I can Google it real quick. Yeah, pick any 2 pills. Let's see if this is it. Yeah, this is it. So you have to pick only 2 pills. One is look 15 years younger. 2, read minds for 3 days. 3, forget your ex. It's like, damn, who wrote this? Like, how sad are you?
Someone sad boys.
4, eat without gaining weight. 5, it says add 5 centimeters to your height, but let's call it like
2 inches.
2 inches.
Yeah. Let's call it like 3 just to be safe. Add 3 inches to your height. 6, become super strong. 7, have a lot of money. 8, always feel happy. And 9, get millions of followers. You can only pick 2 of these. Which 2 would you pick? Whoever wants to go first, you can.
That was pretty obvious. I'm going with actually it's not. There's 4 good answers. I'm gonna go with 3 inches or 3 inches taller and a lot of money.
Oh wow. So he can meet Aisha's height standard.
I know, right? She been amping up the thirst trap pics. I got to get a little taller, you know.
He's like, I'm taller now, baby, and
I'm
I got
6
money.
feet. I'm 6 feet now. What you want to do?
He'd be like 6'2".
Me?
Yeah.
No, he's 5'9".
6 feet.
Yeah, he's 5'9".
Really? I thought you were like 5'10", 5'11".
I'm 5'10" on a good day. I mean, my dad always said he was 5'10", and I'm taller than him. So, but the doctor says I'm 5'9".
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, honestly, this is easy. This is very easy for me. Have a lot of money and to be able to eat what I want without gaining weight.
That doesn't mean you're not gonna have a heart attack, though. It's like, it doesn't say anything about.
That's true.
But I mean, assuming that you'd be like, all right, well, like, all right, imagine, say I worked out every day and it was like, well, I can't gain weight. So I'd eat burgers and stuff and be working out. All right, losing weight. I can't gain. I'm just losing.
I feel like that would get confusing.
See, I tried to like double it up. I'm like, which one of these could overlap? Like which one of these, like to have a lot of money. It's like, could I get something else and monetize that to gain a lot of money? So I have like 2 skills.
Well, that like read minds for 3 days.
Well,
you
yeah.
can manipulate.
If I could read minds for 3 days, I'm going and doing some crazy things. I could make a lot of money in 3 days by reading minds.
How?
Government secrets, getting into bank, like getting into. But you have to get near those people. That's the problem.
Yeah, you would have to know their minds when they're logging into their bank account.
You would need like a pill to be able to stay awake for all 72 hours. I've got to find them.
Or just walk up to somebody who's a successful businessman, ask them a question, and just be like, read their mind. Ask them a business question.
What's your bank login?
This fucking guy.
At least make them think about it.
You'd be like, this guy's never gonna be shit. I don't even know why I'm wasting my time. It's like, oh, fuck you.
If I could guess what you're thinking right now, you have to, send me your bank account.
Bill Gates, walk up to Bill Gates. If I can guess your thoughts right now, you have to give me $1 billion.
I mean,
run the other direction. Start running. Please don't. Please don't.
I'm gonna say, like, I really wanted to do eat without gaining weight. Like, I really wanted to. But I'm going to go always feel happy. But then I was like, well, feeling sadness, having that juxtaposition helps you gauge feelings. All right, no, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go become super strong and have a lot of money.
Okay. So I'm
going to be a superhero.
You'll be Batman. You'll be Batman.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be dumb about it.
I'm going to tell you like this. That super strong thing is not always worth it. You rip door handles off and stuff like that. It's not all what it's cracked up to be.
But I'm thinking like when they say super, I'm not thinking like, oh, he's a really strong human. I'm thinking like super strong.
Yeah, but imagine trying to like open your doors like, oh God, broken up.
You like open it with your pinky, like come on.
Now you're super rich though, so
right?
You can break the doors.
You could just invent things that open when you get near it. You're like,
oh man. But nah, my thought process is if I got a lot of money and I can eat all I want without gaining weight, I could just have Flu like move in to my house and be like my personal chef.
Hell yeah.
And be like, hey, fish and grits. Hey, can I get some fish and grits? Can I get some smoked salmon mac and cheese, bro?
Just eat like shit. Like,
ooh, you making crab cake tacos? Sweet.
It's funny. The first like 4 answers were all like sad boy answers.
Honestly.
But then the last one's sort of like I feel like if you had a millions of dollars, you're gonna get followers anyway. Like if that's what you want to do. At least.
Well, money and clout. Some people are going to like. I think a lot of younger generation might be like, "Oh yeah, I want a million followers and all the money."
You did it too.
Right.
Fast
and then
forward.
Then you get 100 people to buy whatever type of shit you're pushing. That's the problem with followers. Most of them aren't that engaged.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'll click on your page. Oh, I forgot I followed you. Damn it.
Who is this guy?
That pretty much does it for us, though.
It.
That's the end of the 1 year anniversary. Bryce just popped in the chat a little bit ago. So what's up, Bryce? Appreciate you putting that TikTok together for us for the 1 year. We'll get that up on the page.
Nice little ad.
And we'll put it up and advertise that. But it was a fun year, gentlemen. Good way to wrap it up. And here's to many more and hopefully much more success. If not, we'll just continue having a good time and talking to cool people and just be one of the coolest channels that no one's ever heard of.
We got to get Dale Murphy on. Have you reached out to him?
The baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
You said Dale Murphy, and I thought Dale Earnhardt. I was like, huh? Like,
hey,
why are we bringing on a NASCAR driver?
I Am Athlete just had him on a week or two ago.
Did they really?
Mm-hmm. They've been on NASCAR the past 3 weeks, and I haven't watched because I'm just like, not really interested.
Yeah, I'm good. Myron's asking for clarification. But yeah, that's it for us. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe. You know what we need to do? We need to start every episode with telling people to like and subscribe. Because if, they'll catch them in the first 5 minutes instead of the third hour.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just like put it into our little thing.
Oh, I pinned it in the chat.
Okay.
And then like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Just have it flash on the screen. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, just put it like
In the
right
background.
next to Fish and Grits, like the little Fish and Grits logo. Just like and subscribe.
If they mouse over it, it turns into a like and subscribe. But yeah, that was fun, gentlemen. Let's get out of here. I had a blast. And don't forget to like and subscribe, guys.
Yeah.
We are out of here. Peace.
Deuces.
And if you like Fish and Grits and all that sports shit, everybody let me hear you say, oh, yay. Oh, yay.